Yeah, when I watched the original movie, not Wolverine. What was it? What was the name of this one here?
Deadpool and Wolverine. Yep.
Wolverine, that's right. Well, first of all, when we were talking about last night, I thought you were going to review 2 movies today. That's how out of the loop that I am. I thought you were going to do like Deadpool and the new Wolverine.
And Wolverine, right? Yes.
Yeah. But then I went to look up the trailer just to get a little bit in the know, and I saw, oh, it's just one movie. All right, so silly me right off the bat. But the one thing I wanted to know off the bat was, I know in Deadpool they had that recurring theme with the Careless Whisper. With was it George Michael or Wham or whatever?
Wham, yep.
And I'm wondering if they tried to tie a song into this new movie at all.
Or they did not. They did not. They had quite the cornucopia of different songs in this. So the first Deadpool and his obsession with Careless Whisper, that's pretty much the only Deadpool movie where he was like fixated on one particular song. I can't think of any in Deadpool 2. It was kind of a hodgepodge of different songs in that. And then of course I regret, like in the second and third movie, I don't think you hear the Deadpool theme, Deadpool, there's a little Deadpool theme song. You only hear that in the first one. So I think they really missed out on putting that in the second and third one. It only enhances every Deadpool movie to have that theme song in there. Otherwise, the movie's just kind of
crash and burn, huh, Mav?
I shouldn't say that. They're still pretty good, but
you don't think it's as good as the original right off the bat? Would you say?
Well, the original, yeah, like this, like with most trilogies or dual movies or whatever, or series of movies, typically the first one is the best one. And that's the case with the Deadpool movies. But I think they're all pretty good. I mean, there's not a drop off. It's not. I'm trying to think of like a notable drop off, like a movie that were like a series where the first one was completely awesome and the second one just kind of sucked. I mean, I guess like the Avengers, that was a really good one, but then they came out with the Avengers: Age of Ultron, and I think the Avengers: Age of Ultron, that was like the first Marvel movie to get kind of a lower rating, like Rotten Tomato rating, than Marvel movies had been accustomed to at that point. But the Deadpool movies, right around across the board, through all 3 movies, the ratings have been universally pretty high, pretty respectable there, because it's so different for superhero movies, especially when the first one came out, where like, oh my God, look at all this gore, all this violence. I'm like, oh my, there's a sex scene. Oh my God, now he's saying the F-bomb like all the time. But it was like amazing. And I don't know if maybe the first movie got kind of a boost up, just because of the novelty factor, just everyone was like, oh my God, and then by the time Deadpool 2 came out a couple years ago, the bloom had come off the rose a little bit, but the ratings for Deadpool 2 were still pretty good. And then this one, Deadpool and Wolverine, the audience and the critics ratings, I don't care about the critics ratings, but the audience ratings, and I say that as a movie critic, the audience rating is what matters to me. And the audience rating is, tippy top. It's way up there for this one. So yeah, no, there's no subpar Deadpool movie at all. They're all good.
Yeah, good to hear. It's not like what was it? Indiana Jones is what comes to mind, where he had like the first 3 or 4 that were decent. Then I remember they made a couple duds.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great example right there, because they had the first 3 and they should have just ended right after Last Crusade, and then the last one was what, Indiana Jones and the Secret of the Stool Softener or something like that. I mean, it was it just should have never ever been made, but it was like the cash grab from hell. And Harrison Ford, I'm sure they backed up, Fort Knox into his driveway with about 1,000 armored trucks to get him to do that, because Harrison Ford doesn't need the money, but he's got like multiple planes, he's got ranches up in Montana. He pretty much hates Hollywood. His first response whenever anybody asks him, to do a movie, is like, "Get off my lawn, man." I mean, that's pretty much. You just need to do any movie, but when you hear beep 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 beep, in your driveway, like, what is that? Yeah. Oh, they must want me to do another Indiana Jones movie. All right, okay, so, and that's why that one got made. But that's a good example, where it had a series of good movies and then they just shit the bed after that. So All right, so let's do this here because let's get into a little Deadpool and Wolverine here, and so just to really drive home the point here, and again, Davon, if you have any questions about the movie as we're going along, feel free to interject and whatnot. But again, just to reiterate, even though it's actually in the title of the show, spoiler warning, it's going to be spoilers galore. So Davon, God bless him, and Dusty coming up here pretty soon, God bless him. They don't care if it gets spoiled. Like you were saying, hey, by the time you see it, you probably aren't going to remember, what I said anyway. And like most people, they're like, I don't want to remember what Van said anyway. So, so let's get into some Deadpool and Wolverine, shall we? And I just thought what the opening of this movie was just one of the most ingenious and totally disrespectful laugh out loud openings ever, with Deadpool defiling Wolverine's grave from Logan there. So, because Davon, did you see Logan?
I had that movie purchased. It's one of those that's I think on my Amazon Prime, but I've just never stopped or bothered to watch it yet.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth watching right there. It's it's directed by the same guy. He did like Ford v Ferrari and Walk the Line. James Mangold. He did 3:10 to Yuma, Copland. Unfortunately, he's the one who just directed Indiana Jones and the Secret of the Stool Softener. So he's got that one skid mark on his record. But pretty much every other movie he's made is tip top right there. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching. But I'll just put it this way: at the end of Logan, there is a need for a grave in which Wolverine fills the grave. Okay, so you can guess what happens at the end of that movie. And when Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, let me just keep it to Ryan Reynolds. So Ryan Reynolds came out with like this promotional video. Here, I'll just play it here real quick. So let's do this. Let's just do this here. All right. So this is like a promotional video that they did when this movie was still known as Deadpool 3, and nobody knew about Hugh Jackman here, but I'll play this real quick. I'm going to fast forward through a little bit.
Everyone, we're extremely sad to have missed D23, but we've been working very hard. Meaning, every Deadpool needs to stand out and stand apart. It's been an incredible challenge that has forced me to reach down deep inside. And I have nothing. Yeah, just completely empty up here. And terrifying. But we did have one idea. Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
So they did that original promo right there, letting everybody know that Hugh Jackman was going to come back to play Wolverine in the next Deadpool movie. But before that, everybody thought Wolverine was dead because of the ending of Logan. Well, at the beginning, so in that video, or I think maybe it might have been a later video, they were talking about, hey, we're not going to defile the memory of Logan's death at the end of Logan. Okay, we're going to respect that. And then the very opening scene of Deadpool and Wolverine, guess what? They defile the grave of Logan from the ending of the movie Logan there, with Deadpool showing up at this grave. Like, it's supposed to be like up near the Canadian, like U.S. Canadian border up in the mountains, and he basically just digs Wolverine out of his grave, and Wolverine at this point, he's just like an adamantium skeleton, okay, because the skeleton is made out of this adamantium material, this indestructible material. So he pulls out his skeleton, and he's even playing like puppets with his teeth and whatnot, and that kind of thing. So he just completely defiles his memory. But then he gets these TVA agents, that stands for like Timeline Variance Authority, and these agents from this TVA show up to arrest Deadpool because according to them, he did something wrong or something like that. He broke the law. And so they're trying to arrest him. Of course, Deadpool's like, who are these guys? I have no idea. These guys could be here to kill me. So he starts ripping Wolverine's body, his bones apart. And because they're like these indestructible material, he starts stabbing all these agents with all the adamantium bones right there. And so the intro to the movie is very gory. He's just fighting them, left and right. But the whole time, NSYNC's Bye 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 is playing. So he's like dancing to NSYNC's Bye 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 while he's snuffing out all these agents here with Wolverine's bones. And hey, I spy out of my little eye here somebody that I think I know right there. We have our other brother Dusty here on the line. So hey, good to see you, man.
How's it going?
Excellent. Yeah, even better that you're here, man.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, I like that. Apparently, you're calling from joining us from Dodge City.
Yes. I just Googled British pubs, and then I went there. I'm actually at a pub right now.
Oh, is that a British pub right there? So that tells you how blind I am right there. Yeah, I saw your background, and instantly I think Dodge City or Tombstone or something like that, but it's
probably is.
Isn't that where Chevy Chase grabbed all that cash at Clark Griswold? Remember, didn't he rob like a bank in Dodge City, Kansas, when they went to the Grand Canyon?
I was wondering when he went to the Grand Canyon. Yeah, so
that would have been Arizona. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, because he was like, I wanted to cash a traveler's check, and the guy's like, I can't cash a traveler's check for more than $300 or something like that. And then,
that was it. Dodge City was after the bartender or something.
Yeah, Dodge City's like, it's like move your chicken wings, turkey.
That's it. Yeah. I was also
a little yellow Betty.
Royal Mile vibes from your backdrop there,
Dustin. Oh yeah.
Out of Des Moines, which is a British pub, so how appropriate.
There you go. Right. I thought you were coming to us from like Shutterstock, Iowa. There.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
I like the Shutterstock of water marks there on the picture.
Yeah.
It's a good. It's a good touch right now. I'm digging it. I'm not lying. I'm not giving you shit there. So, but yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm drunk off my 2 sips of oatmeal stouts. I just can't handle it, man. It's totally wasted, man. Yeah. So Dusty, again, welcome, and let us know a little bit about yourself. It can be nice and brief and whatnot. I don't ask you to give us a Gettysburg Address and put you on the spot, but let us know a little bit about yourself for the audience.
All right, cool. I'm Dusty. I live in LA. And I work for UFC. So if you guys like UFC sports or don't like it, I'm sorry. I don't have a cool entertainment job, unfortunately, but it's entertaining, I guess. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I mean, you get to see cool stuff, like Christian Slater at Burger King, or Julia Roberts, at Walmart or something, because I'm sure she goes there all the time, right?
I saw John Lovitz at Italian Deli a couple months ago. He looked very depressed.
Oh yeah, okay. Was he dressed like the devil, or?
It was like unfortunately not. No, just like kind of like a drab like business suit, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, there with Morgan Fairchild. But welcome there, man. I appreciate you joining here, and so. You're going to have to hear me drone on about Deadpool and Wolverine right here. I'm just kind of going through some of the plot here and giving folks a chance to join in on the show and then live chat if they want and that kind of thing about it. But so I was talking about the beginning scene, the beginning sequence of Deadpool and Wolverine, where he is just snuffing out lies because he's got these agents from the TVA coming in to arrest him, and then it basically proceeds on where he's trying to audition, or he's trying to interview to join the Avengers, and the Avengers turn him down because, as Happy Hogan, the guy Jon Favreau plays in the movies, he's interviewing him and just tells Deadpool, like, well, we hire the Avengers, the people to join the Avengers because the world needs them, not because they need the world. And so basically that's his way of saying, hey, you know what? We don't need you. Nobody in the world needs you, Deadpool, particularly the Avengers, And so I'm sure when Deadpool heard that, he was kind of like,
gotcha, bitch.
Like, whoa, or Jon Favreau was thinking that. And then it proceeds from there, where they fast forward like 8 years in the future, because the interview takes place in like 2008. They fast forward to like 2000, current day. And Deadpool's kind of in a slump. Okay, he's working at an auto dealership as a car salesman. He's not doing the Deadpool stuff anymore. Vanessa, the Total Smoke Show, from the first and second movies, they're broken up. Just a really down time in Deadpool's life. And so then that's when he is arrested. They try to arrest him, or they do arrest him from the TVA. And so they do get a hold of him. And then that's when they get him to their TVA headquarters and say, "Hey, Deadpool, we know you think you don't matter much, but we're going to offer you something where you can matter. Okay, don't you want to matter?" And of course, Deadpool's like, "Yes, I want to matter. Thank you for this opportunity." And I'm going to be Marvel Jesus. Of course, they're all looking at him like, "No, you're not going to be Marvel Jesus. You're just going to be part of this big process, or this big operation we got going on. But you're going to matter." But then the other shoe drops, and they tell him, "Yeah, you're going to matter, but it's going to be at a terrible cost, because your whole timeline, where all your people that you love, where they live and whatnot, we're going to take out that timeline. So pretty much everybody that you know is going to die." And of course, at that, he's like, "What? No, man, I didn't sign up for that crap. I'm not going to. No, you're not going to do that, okay?" And so they tell him, like, "Well, the reason that your timeline has to end is because Wolverine died at the end of Logan." So it's kind of all tying it back together with Logan. And so Deadpool's like, "Well, why don't I just like run down to Walmart and get you another Wolverine? Because Wolverine dying is what caused the timeline to have to die. So I'll get you another Wolverine, and we'll be good to go. We'll be square, and I can still matter, and everybody I love can live, and we're good to go." It's all and that kind of thing. And of course, they're all like,
"You are a retard."
So, and they don't go for it. So then at that point, that's when he has to escape again. And then that brings us to when he defiles Wolverine's grave. And so that's one thing. If you've seen the first two Deadpool movies, you know that they kind of hop around in time, kind of like Christopher Nolan movies hop around in time a lot. And so this movie is no different than that. And then Wolverine and him, I think they escape somehow here. And this movie is like 2 hours and 8 minutes long, so it's kind of hard to like break down everything that happens. But they do end up in this place called the Void, and the Void is where you see the majority of the cameos in this movie. So, and this movie has a lot of cameos. Maybe you guys, even if you haven't seen, even with you guys not having seen the movie, you probably know that there's a lot of cameos in this movie, and so it's worth checking that out. I'm going to purposely, just because you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to ruin the cameos here. Now, somebody else like pops in and mentions that hey, what can I do right there? So, but that's and then that's like kind of the jumping off point to the movie. But it gets crazy. I mean, you guys have seen the first two Deadpools. I mean, Davon, it sounds like you've at least seen the first one, right?
Well, sure. Yep.
Yeah, and then Dusty, have you seen any of the Deadpool movies?
I've seen the first two, yeah.
So you know how like bonkers it gets, right? It's just not even trying to be a serious superhero movie or anything like that. It's just trying to be out there, and that's on purpose because Ryan Reynolds, he, as you probably know, he did play Deadpool in an earlier, lamer iteration in that Wolverine Origins movie, and the audience hated that. It was a terrible rendition of Deadpool, but Ryan Reynolds really likes Deadpool, and particularly obviously the comic book version of Deadpool. So he wanted to bring the comic book version, the true to the comic book version of Deadpool to life. And so he went through a lot of shit to try to get the first Deadpool movie made. He had to sell the story to a bunch of studios. And he's Ryan Reynolds, right? He's not like, you or me or Davin, like going and trying to sell a script to some Hollywood studio. I mean, Ryan Reynolds has some clout, right? By that time he's pretty much a big movie star at that point. But even this big movie star, Ryan Reynolds, had to go with hat in hand to all these studios, go, "Hey, pretty please with sugar on top, can we make this Deadpool movie?" And he kept getting rejected. And then he eventually just kind of had to go to a little bit more nefarious, and nefarious is a strong word, kind of like seedier means to get the movie made. And eventually his dream was realized, and we were all the better for it in 2016. But that's I love these movies. I mean, I like Deadpool. I've got as you guys know, you're my brothers. You guys know I have the sense of humor of an 8-year-old, and I always will. So yeah, I mean, dick and fart jokes. That's my my meat and potatoes right there, right? So, but yeah. So and then and like I said before, like him and Vanessa, they're not together anymore. And, Ryan Reynolds, he's a good dramatic actor too. He's not just good at playing goofy characters. He pretty much, he not pretty much does, but he mostly does comedies. I think we can all agree. But he does do some serious roles, and so he's good at, if he needs to, looking like he's hurting, that kind of thing when he's going through some kind of emotional turmoil, kind of like him and Hugh kind of look like this here in this video here. Let me show you this. This is them on Hot Ones. You guys probably have seen Hot Ones here before.
Oh, yeah.
You are.
That salmon is pretty awesome.
Yeah. How about the best scenery? Better scenery.
Well, that's tricky. I'm gonna say coast to coast. Oh, but very close because I've been to.
Yeah, both are good.
To paradise, but I've never been to me.
Where do you find the better slang? There we go, in full agreement on that.
Fair dinkum digger. A little bit stronger than.
Wrap your laughing gear around. Wrap your laughing gear around that one.
Oh, yep.
I was really going to quit, and now, really, this must... Oh, thank
Can
you,
I have the
Sean.
ice cream?
Thank you.
Yeah, just dive into it. You don't have to wait for me.
Thank you, God. Can I put my mouth with this whole bowl in my mouth? Get the spoon.
I mean, man.
Careful, Ryan.
I know,
Just
no.
arm.
Do not want to get that hot sauce in your eyes, man. Do not want to do that. That would be bad.
This ice cream has got fucking chili in it.
Yeah, so he probably hurt a lot like that, when Vanessa, busted his or broke up with him in the show right there. But you should, definitely check out that whole episode of Hot Ones. It's like 28 minutes long. It's not very long, but that's my amateur sense of humor. I could just watch, all three of them just suffer from eating these hot wings, and that's all it takes to get me almost pissing my pants laughing. And but I think that's the first time in an episode I saw that they gave somebody ice cream. I don't think I've ever seen that before on Hot Ones there, but maybe I haven't seen every episode. But I like how Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, these two movie stars, are like waiting for Sean Evans, the civilian interviewer, to start eating ice cream before they think they have permission to eat the ice cream. Like, you guys are movie stars. You do what you want on this show. Like, just scarf down that ice cream whenever you want. Okay, but that's pretty good there. But and then also about Deadpool Wolverine, I thought it was kind of cool that, in case you guys didn't know, Ryan Reynolds practically had his whole family in one of the later scenes in the movie. So there's a later scene where there's this whole group, this whole armada of Deadpool characters, but they're all like different variants of Deadpool, and it's called the Deadpool Corps. And so there's like a Lady Deadpool, and she's played by Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' real life wife there. And then they have Kidpool, and Kidpool is played by his daughter, and his daughter, I guess she had to get special permission because she lets off a very filthy, disgusting, dirty, profanity-laced tirade there. So I guess since her dad helped write the script, I guess she had special permission to just rip off this whole, kind of tirade, where like, you kiss your mother with that mouth? Like, oh my God, so Kidpool, played by their daughter, had that whole spiel to go off of, and then they have a very young son, and he played Baby Pool. So like, there's like this little toddler Deadpool wandering around in as part of the Deadpool Corps. And then they have a Deadpool called Cowboy Pool, and he's played by Matthew McConaughey, but you couldn't tell because he's covered from head to toe with his Deadpool, gear and cowboy hat. And then they have a Head Pool, which is just Deadpool's like emaciated head just floating around in the air, because as you imagine, if you decapitate Deadpool, since he can't be killed, well, his head's just going to float around. If you decapitate him and you throw his rest of his body in a volcano or something like that, you're just going to have this Deadpool head that's floating around, And so Deadpool's head, or Headpool, is voiced by Nathan Fillion, who you guys probably might know as the lead character from Firefly. There, what else was he? He was in that movie, that TV series Castle, there as well. So there's a whole lot of cameos that are unseen and seen in this movie, but a whole lot of stuff in this movie. But just to vary it up here a little bit, let's do this because I want to tell you guys all about our fantastic website here for the Dill Death. the pickle related network. No, it's Till Death, not Dill Death. Till Death Podcast Network. We have our tdpn.locals.com website that you see right there that I'm pointing at. And right now, if you go there to tdpn.locals.com, you can put in promo code TDPN and get 1 month free membership there. And why would you want to go there? Well, you want to go there because that's where all the cool kids go. Okay, so you ever, when you're back in high school or junior high, you're walking down the hall and you're like, oh man, all those cool kids over there. Look at that, man. Oh, I wish I could be like them. Well, you can be like them because they're probably hanging out at tdpn.locals.com. And they're like, hey, nerd, you can hang out with us if you come to tdpn.locals.com. Hey, are you going to answer their siren call? Of course you're going to do it. You're going to go to tdpn.locals.com and check out all our articles about, there you go, Davon. I like it. Yeah, you found it. Right there you go. So somebody wants to hang out with the cool kids right there. That guy, he wants to hang out with the cool kids there at tdpn.locals.com. And so that's where we have like articles and videos and blogs all about TV and movies and booze. So like we have cocktail recipes out there. If you want to know how to make like a spicy old fashioned or something like that, you've got that out there. So, as a matter of fact, those cool kids are drinking spicy old fashions over there. Yeah, there you go. You guys are really cool. Wow. High schoolers drinking old fashions. Who would have thought? And then we also have stuff out there about politics and hot button topics of the day, sizzling, scorching hot, sizzling topics of the day that everybody is talking about, but you're not going to see it anywhere else in the fashion. You see it on tdpn.locals.com right there. So yeah, and then like I said before, down at the bottom, put in that promo code TDPN, get yourself 1 free month of membership. That means you get free access, you get carte blanche, okay? You can wander around aimlessly around the website all you want because you're a VIP member for free for 1 month. And then after that, it's like $3 measly, okay? I mean, that's nothing, right? I mean, it's well, I was about to say that's probably like 3 items off the dollar value menu, but that was like 5-6 years ago. Now with Biden inflation, we probably get you like 1 thing off the dollar menu right there. So I do have to adjust things for the time we live in, but still pretty cheap. $3 is still pretty cheap. And so, yeah, take advantage of that. Go join those cool kids there right now. All right. So that's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. And just let me remind everybody, go ahead and smash that like button down below, right? Smash it. Just pummel it, all right? Just do it. Just pummel it like those cool kids will pummel you if you don't go to tdpn.locals.com. So pummel that like button down below, and then while you're down there pummeling buttons anyway, that sounded dirty, go ahead and pummel that follow or subscribe button down there as well on whatever platform you're watching on, YouTube, Rumble, Pilled, whatever, what have you. And then also hit the notification bell. So whenever a brand new piping hot, fresh episode of Movies America is ready, you're going to hear ding, and you're going to know it's time to be happy. All right. The rest of my life was worthless, but now it's about to mean something because of Movies America episode. It's about to be ready, and I get to watch it. Okay, so you'll get to check that out. And then also, if you're not watching live, why the hell are you not? But okay, yeah, that's cool. I know people got things to do. All right, people got families and stuff. All right, so you can't watch it live. But if you're watching it later on, you're watching the recording, get down in the comments down there. I want to hear from you. If it's something as simple as just saying, hi, or if you want to put a shit emoji down there, that's totally cool. Or if you want to, make like, Dostoevsky and start, writing a bunch of stuff down there, put a Gettysburg Address down there, that's totally cool in the comments. I just want to hear from you, keep the lines of communication going. All right, so, all right, enough about that there. So, all right, probably boring the hell out of Dusty and Davon right here with all the talk. So, got to liven it up over here. Got to do it. Let me do this here real quick. I'm going to play this here because this is from, you guys might have heard of the Bannies that we did 2 or 3 months back. And that's our Till Death Podcast Network version of the Oscars and the Emmys and, the Tony Awards and whatnot. But the thing is, all those awards bow down to the Bannies, okay? Our Bannies tops them all. We have better categories. I mean, we had categories like the most banned sports personality or the most banned media personality and that kind of thing. But, when you're watching the Oscars, the Tonys, of course, there's commercials, right? There's commercials, there's movie trailers, that kind of thing. And so I'm just going to just to kind of entice everyone to check out the bannies, which you can do if you just click on the bannies link in the description down below. But just to tantalize you, like just some creepy drug dealer, like the first one's free. Well, I'm going to tantalize you to check out the bannies right here with a little movie trailer that played during the bannies. Let's check it out.
In 2023, he got too high on his own supply. Now he's got to sell, not snort, to be able to feed his 17 cubs. He needs to move weight quickly, and he knows just the customer. A customer who loves to sniff everything in his path. A customer that has taxpayer money to burn on mass quantities of booger sugar. And a son who will also be a loyal customer. This customer has a name, and his name is Joe Blow. Where's the thing? El Presidente? I never touched her. No, Mr. President. I've got those snow globes you ordered. Oh, Bo's gonna love those. Yeah. Where would you like them? In the Ovaltine office, next to my pictures from Epstein Island. This summer, the White House will be mighty whitey when Joe and Hunter turn the Rose Garden into the Nose Garden, and inside Marine One, bust out a kilo in the helo. Good thing they've got a doctor in the house, because Joe Blow has a fever, and the only prescription is a presidential pouch full of nose candy. Cocaine Bear to the rescue. He's out of hibernation for the nation. Cocaine Bear 2, Joe Blow.
All right, there we go. So, yeah, I'm sure everyone right now is like, I can't wait for this live stream to end so I can go watch the bannies. All right, and it's absolutely free. You can check out the bannies. It's just down. Just click on the link down in the description, and it's there for you right there. We have all kinds of good guests and whatnot on there, giving away the awards, because like on the Oscars, right, they have like celebrities come out there, like, and for our next category, this is for the top dipshit of Hollywood, and it's like, and then they bring them out, and they have all the, the naming of all the nominees and that kind of thing. Well, the bannies works exactly the same way right there. So, but you'll see what we mean. But we have all kinds of other stuff going on with the bannies as well. All right, so. And let's talk about more Deadpool and Wolverine, because that's what the show is all about here tonight. All right, and I was kind of alluding to it earlier. I'm like, sound like Damon Wayans from In Living Color. I'm making up my own words here. But let me just say from the jump that Deadpool and Wolverine is not, by itself, it's not going to save Disney Marvel as we know it now. Disney Marvel, for all intents and purposes, it's like the destroyed New York City at the end of the first Avengers. Did you guys see, Dusty and Davon, did you guys see the first Avengers?
Yes.
Oh, it's been years, hasn't it?
2012 was when it came out there, but it's the very first Avengers where, like Captain America and Thor and the Hulk and all those all came together and whatnot. But the reason I ask is at the end of that one, New York City is just, it's torn to shit, right? Because they had all these aliens come down and they had this big old climactic fight and all that stuff. Well, Disney Marvel is pretty much like that right now cinematically. And this particular movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, as far as the cleanup goes, is like one dude with a shovel and a hard hat. Okay, it's going to take a long time to clean up this mess with that being this case. But that being said, if Disney Marvel can bring that same level of self-awareness to their movies going forward like they did in this one. And like what I mean by that is they do take a lot of shots at themselves in this movie. Okay, they don't have a problem with Deadpool and other characters in this taking a shot at them as well, because there's one line that Deadpool has where let's talk about Wolverine and trying to entice Wolverine to join him. And he says, hey, Wolverine, you can join Marvel. you're coming in at a low point, and so I mean, Disney Marvel is totally cool with including that in the script, so they're kind of self-effacing there. So as long as they keep that kind of self-awareness, I think they'll be good. So I do very, 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 very faintly smell comeback. Okay, so but also they're going to have to absolutely stop with coming out with the new Disney Marvel TV series every 13 seconds, because if you guys fire up Disney Plus, it looks like there's 27,413 Disney Marvel TV series on there, and they come out every 13 seconds. They just got to stop, right? Because there's something to be said about scarcity adding value to a commodity, right? Okay, but however, in the meantime, though, with this, Deadpool and Wolverine is a very entertaining cinematic distraction for 2+ hours that, much to Hawkeye's disliking, gives people hope there. And what I'm referring to right there is in Avengers Endgame, after Hawkeye's family has all been zapped. They've been part of the snap, right? And I think Black Widow comes up and she's like, "We might be able to get your family back," and Hawkeye's like, "Don't give me hope, man. Don't give me hope." So that's kind of where that line comes from. But part of that entertainment in this movie is from the absolute boatload of cameos that I was alluding to a little earlier. But like I said, I'm going to try not to spoil any of those cameos there. But the cameos there, I will say this about the cameos: they're not gimmicky, right? They're not those kind of cameos where they pop in, "Oh, I remember that guy," and they pop in for just a second and that's it. They actually serve a purpose in this, and they're a essential part of the plot. They actually do stuff in the plot. They're fighting and saving stuff and that kind of thing, and kicking ass and all that. So it's not this gimmicky member berry kind of thing right there. But there is one now with the cameos that popped in, because the cameos are pretty much older characters that came back from other movies and whatnot. And so with that, as you would imagine, different people in the theater are gonna react differently. Some audiences might be have some particular cameo pop in, and they're gonna be like, "I don't care about that guy," where other people in the theater is like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that guy's back! Wow!" And so for me, there was one particular one that came back where I almost popped out of my seat, and cheered, but instead I was there. I went to go check out the movie with my friend Adam and Aaron, and we're just fist pumping, "Oh my god, I can't believe that guy's back!" So this is the kind of movie that's going to elicit those kind of reactions there, and that's what I miss about movie theaters and the way they are now, as opposed to they were back in the day. Because remember when we used to see movies, Davon and Dusty, back in the day, where you could dependably go to a theater, say, particularly on a Friday and Saturday night, and the theater would be packed, right, or pretty close to packed, right, and that used to be kind of just the norm back in the 80s and the 90s and 2000s, just to illustrate how old we are. But nowadays that's pretty rare, except for when a movie like Deadpool and Wolverine come out. And Deadpool and Wolverine and the audience reaction that I heard, reminded me of the good old days, right? Because I remember Davon, way back in the day, Dusty might have been there with us, but we went and saw Tango and Cash. Remember that? Back in '89, Tango and Cash and whatnot. I remember there were some parts in Tango and Cash that people were like, "Yeah, right, you get him, Stallone. Oh, Kurt Russell, you're kicking some ass," And you don't really see that much nowadays because, me being a movie critic, I go to a lot more movies than most people, so I'm in a lot more empty theaters than most people get to see. And of course, when it's me and a couple of cockroaches in there watching the movie, you don't get that audience reaction, right? So, but now that's what I thought about Deadpool and Wolverine is this movie is making serious bank at the box office, and that means there's a lot of asses in seats and a lot of crowd reaction and that kind of thing. Another movie that the crowd reaction thing reminds me of is Pulp Fiction. I don't know if either of you went and saw Pulp Fiction at the theater. I did when I was still stationed over in Japan.
94.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, and that was one of those movies I got the most hooting and hollering and all right, Sed's dead and all that stuff. So that was another movie where we had a lot of cool interaction from the audience right there. Hey, we got Another Ebert in the house. What do we got? Yeah, we got Sister Ebert here, Amy on the line, and she comes in with, "Hey, my brothers," right there. Yeah, she's bringing a party, the festival, to the show right there. So good to see you. Hopefully, we're keeping you entertained here on this episode of Movies America. Spoiler warning right there. So, because I don't want people to have this reaction whenever they watch the show.
I gotta go tinkle.
Yeah, we don't want that. We want people glued to the show here. But all that to say is Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, that was a great movie for just like great audience participation. And so if they keep that up, they're gonna have a whole lot of good audience participation movies. But they just got to do it right. They can't make a bunch of movies with a bunch of blinkety blink, and that's what I call like visual effects. Like visual effects that mean absolutely nothing. I call it blinkety blink, right? It's like you're shining your laser for your cat. Like it doesn't mean anything to you. It's just they're hoping that the audience is just like that. Like, we don't have to write a good script. We don't have to write compelling characters or anything like that. We're just going to assume we have a bunch of cats in our audience, and that's all it's going to take right there. And then Davon, you were asking about music before with the Deadpool movie, and this like I said, this movie does have a hodgepodge of different songs in it, and I think it's got too many. It's got a lot of needle drops in it, and I think it is it's suffering from that whole Guardians of the Galaxy syndrome, where Guardians of the Galaxy that came out was almost like 10 years ago started this whole trend of like, hey, in order to make our movie seem cooler than it actually is, we're just gonna have our director just drop his whole Spotify music playlist into the damn movie just to make it cooler than it actually is. And so Deadpool and Wolverine, it's cool enough as it is. It doesn't need to do this, but it just has I think too many needle drops in it. Some of them are essential. Some of them work. We're like, okay, yeah, this scene works because of the needle drop. And other needle drops, like, it doesn't really need that right there. Now, it's not as bad as the Suicide Squad, the one that came out in 2016. I don't know if you ever saw that Suicide Squad movie with Will Smith, Margot Robbie. But that movie has, like, oh, my God, like, just a song, like, every 5 seconds, okay? Like, it's like a 3-minute song, 15 seconds of talking, another 3-minute song, 10 minutes of talking, another 5-minute song. I mean, it's just like, my God, stop overdoing it there. And yes, Sister Amy, most deaf. I don't know why I keep calling her Sister Amy like we're in church. Testify, Sister Amy, testify. Amen. Hallelujah. But hopefully, you're enjoying the show there again. But all right, should we do this here, guys? I mean, you guys are here to help me out, and I definitely appreciate this with brew review time right there. And I think we've made everyone wait long enough for the brew review time. So let's make this happen right there. Plus, I'm getting really, really thirsty. I don't know about you guys, but usually about the time my throat starts getting parched, it's time for a little brew review time. So why fight it? Let's do it. All right, everybody. Let's raise our glasses. All right, there we go. We got a little brew review time with a little Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout right here. Let me bust out the old bottle here as well. Yeah, we got the bottle here. So, yeah, let me get that right up there to the camera. Samuel Smith's Old Brewery Tadcaster Oatmeal Stout right there. And this comes to us from across the pond. They do a lot of good brew over there. They drink it in a pub. All right, they don't drink it in a bar. They drink it in a pub over there. And then if they drink too many, they have to scoot off to the loo. And that's my weak-ass British accent right there. So, what's that?
Spot on.
Sport on. Yes, there you go. Exactly. And you know what? I'm getting hungry for a little spotted dick. Think about spots right there. There we go. Say that 10 times real fast. But and so you guys probably already know this. I'm sure Davon and Dusty already know this. But Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout, well, it's got some story to it. Okay, it is actually comes to us from North Yorkshire, UK, and it's actually brewed with well water. And speaking of the well, the original well at this old brewery that this is all brewed at, it actually sunk in 1758, but it's still in use, okay? And They use a hard well water being drawn from this well from 85 feet underground. And as you guys could tell, I'm cheating. I'm reading off the website. It's fermented in stone Yorkshire squares to create an almost opaque, wonderfully silky and smooth textured ale with a complex medium dry palate and bittersweet finish. There we go. Let's stumble that out there, Van. But you guys have any thoughts about the good old oatmeal stout, the Samuel Smiths? Let her rip.
Well, it's a nostalgic beer for me. It reminds me of a lot of oatmeal stouts or just stouts in general. I think that one of the more famous ones is probably Guinness. That's probably the go-to for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But this one here to me, it's quite a bit sweeter. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up what was at least at one time our favorite beer of all time, which would have been an oatmeal stout in Philadelphia, a place called Independence Brew Pub. And I'm not sure what happened to them.
Yeah, it's closed down.
Yeah, it's been closed down for years, I guess. But
Yeah.
if memory serves, they had it on cask, so it was served slightly warmer, probably like 50 degrees, which is, ironically enough, what they recommend serving or drinking this at. Mm-hmm. But I would say Samuel Smith, he is definitely an originator when it comes to, they're kind of a reference beer company, and, they've been around for forever and a day. So when you look up the style of a beer like an oatmeal stout, this one actually holds pretty true to the exact style description of this style of beer. That's mostly what I like about it. I kind of, when I went to drink this in kind of, with the review in mind, I thought about, well, what kind of a grade would I give it? And right off the bat, it's an easy A. I don't think I'd give it 100%. If you go to Beer Advocate, like you're reading from moments ago, I think they give it like a 94 or 93, somewhere in that territory. Mm-hmm. It's just very good. I don't think I'm going to mess with the single digits. I'd probably just give it a good 90.
Right.
But I'm a bit of a harsh critic. But this is one that I think of probably one of the first beers I ever had when I started getting into it about 20-something years ago, into a lot of the craft beers. And I think that this is one anyone could probably open up a bottle of this, drink this, and enjoy it. The worst part about it is it just looks so scary, but it is a pooch.
Right.
And with that said, cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers right there. Let's take a tug off ours here.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's definitely not scary because it's not as thick as a lot of oatmeal stouts. And it's only 5% alcohol by volume. That's relatively low for an oatmeal stout right there. I'm used to oatmeal stouts having a higher alcohol by volume right there. But Dusty, before I keep prattling on here, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I got to agree with Davin. It's probably an A. Like immediately when I don't think I've had this for a long time. It was one of the first, I don't know if you'd call it craft or whatever, but just anytime you go to the store and you're like, I'm going to not drink Busch Light, I'm going to drink fancy beer. That was like one of the first breweries that I saw all the time. So
stand out to the ladies, we're like, ooh, that guy's not drinking Busch Light. What's he drinking over there? Let's check him out.
It's fancy beer.
But I interrupted you. Please continue.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, I haven't had it in forever, and just drinking it now, it's kind of become like this reference, I think, unintentionally. For I do have an oatmeal stout from like a regular brewery around here, just any old brewery that just decides a year ago they're gonna like start brewing oatmeal stout. And I have it, and it tastes exactly like this. It's pretty great. I think it's like job well done. So yeah, it's pretty great. It's like a standard, I would guess.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. It's like a go-to, right? It's comfort food, right?
Exactly.
Right there. It's like if you're like, I don't feel like very adventurous as far as like a restaurant I want to go eat at tonight. Like there's that calamari place that just opened up down the street, but I don't know, I'm ready for some calamari. Let's go to Mama Biscuits down the street where all that soul food, all that comfort food. I'm gonna go there because I know that's good. Screw the calamari place. And so Samuel Smith's oatmeal stout is kind of like that go-to comfort food kind of beer right there. You can count on it right there. And we have some thoughts here about that. Yeah, that's definitely something that impresses this girl right there. Okay, so yeah, someone of the female persuasion has reiterated and confirmed what I suspect. Okay, right there. So Chicks dig the long ball and they dig the dark beer, apparently, there. So there you go. But yeah, so yeah, oatmeal stout is good. I mean, if you want to stand out there, because and Davin, I'm sure you probably would agree. Like, I could see people not wanting to necessarily go straight to the oatmeal stout. Like, say if you're going to a bar and you're like, maybe you want to start up with like a lager or something like that first, or a pale ale, something a little lighter, and then kind of progress your way up to something like a stout, and then a porter after that, and so on and so forth. Right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, this one is mild-mannered enough that depending on what your beer selection is, I tend to go from least intensity to highest intensity, so I don't shock my palate.
Sure.
But this one here, I would say, is probably, at most breweries you're going to go to, it might be somewhere in the middle, or maybe even in the first third. You could probably drink it fairly early on before you got into something that was too hoppy, and something too bitter or something too strong. I mean, I would imagine you'd probably start with like a Kolsch or something real light if you wanted to do it the way that I prefer to do it.
Right.
But again, it wouldn't be that long. If you say you had a sampler, you'd probably be maybe 3-4 beers in before you could drink this. What it is, it's the color that's deceptive or deceiving, whichever grammatically correct word I need to be using. Dusty, I'll defer to you on that one. Yeah. But anyhow.
He works at the university.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Please correct me on my grammar. But no, this one I think would, for me at least, sometimes they bring it out, the sampler platters or whatever they're calling them these days. I've seen all sorts of things. I'm sorry?
Flights?
Yeah, flights. I've seen paddles. Sometimes they call them paddles. But I don't wax semantics when it comes to beer. I just drink it, and it's delicious. But sometimes I have to rearrange the order a little bit, because they'll have maybe 6 or 7 beers, and they'll put this one at the end. And I'll think to myself, well, wait a minute. I know this is a pooch. This is not that strong. So I'll actually move it over somewhere closer to the middle. But no, it's just an easy drinking beer. I geek out when I drink beer, because someone called me the philosophical beer drinker, because I'll start looking into some of the geography in terms of where this is at. I mean, you already mentioned that it comes from England. And it's a British beer.
Yeah.
But what part of it, England? And so everybody knows London to the south in England, but this is actually quite a bit north, and probably comparable to like Boston. In the United States, because
North Yorkshire.
It's a suburb of Manchester. So you've got Liverpool. Everybody knows Liverpool because of the Beatles. Liverpool would be on the Manchester area, the greater Manchester area. Liverpool would be on the west side, and if you look at Tadcaster, it's on the east side. And it's just an interesting area. And it's something that I look into, not just the geography, but like everything that you mentioned earlier in the program, or when you were talking about the beer, how long has that well been around? How long has Samuel Smith been around?
Right.
Are they an originator? That sort of thing. And I think there's just a lot that you could play with this beer. It's definitely an international beer. Anyone that follows someone like Michael Jackson, not the hee musician Michael Jackson, but the actual guy that writes the beer books. This is one that he mentions quite a bit as a reference for an oatmeal stout.
Yeah.
And, again, it's a great go-to. I hadn't had it in years. When I saw that this was among the list of beers that we could try for this show, I actually kind of got a little bit excited, a little bit nostalgic.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Definitely a beer you can geek out to. And one last thing I'll mention on that point is that it's so different now to drink this beer after going to a lot of local establishments. I try not to be a beer snob. I try to enjoy any beer I can get my hands on. I mean, if you hand me beer, I'll drink it. But the fact is that after you've been to a lot of your local microbreweries, it is really fascinating to open up something like this. It comes from an entire other country, uses a completely different water and probably different yeast strands, and Dusty can probably speak more to that. But it just is definitely a far more intriguing flavor after not having it for a number of years, and after going to all these different local microbreweries, which I encourage everyone to do. Support your local microbrewery. But every once in a while, indulge in one of these. Over.
You bet right there. So, and then you were talking about the Independence Brew Pub earlier, and Dusty was also there with us.
Yeah.
And that was 2005, and that was the reason we were going to Philadelphia is because that was one of the locations, or not the only reason we were going there, but one of the things that happened to be happening at that point was Live 8. So we had Live 8 back in 1985, I believe. and then they decided to do Live 8 again, but they did it Live 8 because wasn't it because it was in 8 cities around the world? Is that why it was Live 8 or something like that? And yeah. Yeah, I think because I couldn't remember. I was sort of like it's called Live 8, but why was it called Live 8 instead of Live Aid? But I think it's because it was in 8 cities around the world, and so before everything started going getting going that day for Live 8, we just wanted to chill out at this Independence Brew Pub, and Independence Brew Pub, it didn't look like any kind of kind of rough around the edges kind of brew pub that I would imagine. It almost looked like some 1980s kind of living room kind of thing where it was kind of look more modern architecture on the inside there, as opposed to like the pub that that Dusty's sitting in right there. So it's a kind of a look, more of a modern look to it. Almost look like some of them, maybe not this extreme, but something like from Miami Vice or something like that. It was very modern on the inside and that kind of thing. But the oatmeal stout that they had there was tip top. It was really good for kind of a wetting our whistle and cooling us down before we headed outside and headed up towards the Museum of History or Museum of Art there where the Rocky statue is at. And that's where they had one of the stages, or like the main stage for Live 8 there in Philadelphia. It was right there by the Rocky statue. But before we proceeded to walk from downtown Philadelphia, which is where Independence Brew Pub was at, down to down towards the Rocky statue there. We had to hydrate, and Independence Brew Pub helped us out right there. But Dusty was right there with us. Any fun memories there of that trip there, Dusty, in Philadelphia?
Yeah, a lot.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, thanks for sharing.
I do. Wasn't that brew pub in like the larger? It's kind of like a market building. I forget. It's like the main one in central Philadelphia. I want to say it's like Exchange or something like that. But
I remember it's on a side street, or at least the entrance is on a side street off of the main drag there in downtown.
Yeah, it wasn't far from our hotel where we were staying, I remember.
Right, yeah. Was there like a Residence Inn or Marriott or some really fancy schmancy looking Residence Inn or Marriott there? It was very nice. So
yeah, very, very posh.
Very posh, yes. For posh people like us.
Yes. No, but you're right about the description of the brewery, because I kind of got like a loungy feel, almost like a hotel lobby lounge feel to it. And so anyone that's been to like Vegas and gone to, oh gosh, what's the one? There's there's billions of hotels there, but really you name any of the more posh hotels, that's kind of the feel I got from the brewery. It wasn't going out to some of these agricultural breweries that are in the middle of nowhere. I mean, they really did a pretty good job. I was actually surprised years ago when I found out that they closed. I thought they would have been successable, but it might have been high Philadelphia taxes or something like that ran them out. Who knows?
Yeah. It's here we go. I got a picture of it here. I'll share this right here. So yeah, we'll check this out here. So give everybody an idea as far as what I'm looking at here. So let's do that. And all right. So here we go. Hit.
While you're looking that up, I'll tell you a memory I have is I remember we were watching. I think it was Sarah McLachlan that was at Live 8, and they came up on the screen while we were at the brewery.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I was like, oh, that's so weird. We're like blocks away from where she's playing, and it just seemed weird. I think another was maybe Dave Matthews that played that Live 8 as well.
Oh, right.
And, just kind of trippy to see him on screen on the TV up above the bar, realizing that they're like 2.5, 3 blocks away. And, and then I remember we didn't have tickets to go in, but I remember there was an area where people had like their lawn chairs set up, and we kind of walked over to it. You could see like a jumbotron, that sort of thing, and you could watch some of it from there. But
right,
I have from
right, exactly, right there. It's so I got it right here. It's kind of a bad picture here, but we'll check this out. So photo for there we go. Yeah, define that out there. So let's do this and. There we go. All right, we are getting it on right there, and so see how fast I can mouse click. So you kind of see right there. It's kind of got that. It's a blurry, but you can kind of get the idea. It's like it doesn't look all rustic and all just everything's carved out of wood or anything like that. It's just kind of got this kind of modern, kind of just very neutral colored look to it. But apparently these dudes are sitting here just imbibing, just chugging some beers, or maybe they're sipping a beer. They're just like concentrating on their beers, having a good time, Yeah, it could have been us. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like us, but just imagine that's us sitting there at the bar, because we were sitting at the bar there at Independence Brew Pub, and yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Even with that picture, I definitely get like a hotel bar vibe.
Right. Right. I forgot that it had the Dr. Seuss candy cane pillar right there. I forgot about that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, it is. And that's a neat thing about traveling around and seeing some of these different beers. You go to these different breweries, you always find something a little bit different everywhere you go. It's not a cookie cutter, McDonald's or Burger King or, Culver's or whatever. They're always kind of interesting places doing interesting things. And when it comes down to it, it's, when you go there for the beer, so you want that to be good. But that's where I say I don't think that it's just beer that I can appreciate. If you go across the spectrum, whether it's this show, this is kind of a craft show or a niche, type of thing. But same thing with microbrew, or even a good distillery, someone that's doing something and really putting their heart and soul into it. You have to appreciate that. You may not like every single beer or every single whiskey that you try, or every single movie that you review, for instance. But you can appreciate the fact that the person has a passion for their craft.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like I can't think of anything better than that. Yeah, right there. It's like, because you kind of at least have to like what you do. You have to dig what you do right there in order to enjoy that right here. We got the Gray Man joining us on the Pilled here in the live chat. Got the Gray Man, and he's giving us a hat tip from the man with no name on from the spaghetti westerns there. Old Clint Eastwood right there. And am I the only one who like? This is very morose, very morbid, but. Am I the only one who God, every single time I get on the internet, I keep expecting to see some headline like Clint Eastwood dead. I just keep expecting to see that. Not that I want that to happen, but I just the guy's getting up there in age, and so I almost want to slap myself around for even putting the prospect out there. But the guy is getting up there. He's no spring chicken, so, but that's one of those things any day now, him and Gene Hackman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
are kind of the two that are kind of like that right there. But yeah, welcome to the Gray Man. Thanks for classing up the premises here and whatnot. But I think I mean, it sounds like you guys would give the Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout an A grade. Is that right?
I'd give it an A. Maybe not quite an A plus, because that's tough for me to give that high of a score. But I think I'll stick with my 90, which still, if where I came from or where I graduated, both high school and college, a 90 is an A. I don't do the minus thing or anything like that. It's just a good quality beer. I think if anyone that hasn't had it, they should definitely try it.
Yep.
And if nothing else, it's just a good reference beer. If you want to know what an oatmeal stout tastes like, this is a great one to go pick up. And I found it here in Iowa about, $5 or $6. Wasn't too pricey.
Mm-hmm.
And for this size bottle, whatever this is larger than your average bottle. I'm not sure
right. Yeah.
That's right here. Basically, but
12 ounces. Mine's 12 ounces. You must have a bigger one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think. This one. Yeah, this is the full pint. What do you get, Dusty? Did you get the?
I got this guy. Yeah, the whatever it says. Pint, 2.7 ounces. I think if I can.
I want to say that it's a pint plus 2.7 ounces. I saw the same thing. 2.7 ounces would be like a shot, basically.
Yeah.
So I think it's that pint and then a little extra.
Very small.
Well, yeah, let's all hold up our beer bottles right there. We got those right there. So you got so mine's you're right there. So there you go. Yeah.
Look at those babies.
Yeah, look at those babies. Look at those bottles right there. I gotta love it right there. And I've got size envy because I've only got the 12 ouncer right there. Yeah. Dusty's looks like that apparition from the movie Poltergeist.
Dusty's got the ghost bottle. He's got a ghost.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And the gray man says, "Mine is bigger than yours." Yes, name that movie where that reference is from. Mine is bigger than yours.
Oh, that sounds like Spaceballs to me.
There you go. Exactly. There you go. Absolutely. Funny. She doesn't look Jewish.
Well, and I can't keep you hanging on the or let you be out there on your own island with the whole dead person comment, because I've done that several times, predicting someone's death, and then I always feel like a little bit bad when the person finally croaks. But I will tell you this may sound a little sick too, but my spouse and I have a little bet over Jimmy Carter right now, whether he's going to make it to his 100th birthday, which is October 1st. It's exactly 2 months from today. And right, she says that he's going to go, and for me, I have to take the other side of that bet. I got to say he's going to make it to 100.
Huh.
And he will be 100 and on October 1st of this year. So as far as the whole dead man thing you were talking about, predicting people's deaths.
Oh yeah,
over that sort of thing.
I think I got hoodwinked by the internet because I thought he was dead. I think I saw something like a couple weeks ago where he was dead or whatever.
Oh.
So, but I just looked it up. Like, yeah, he's clearly alive right there. So
I saw that same
should
thing.
say clearly to me. Clearly, he wasn't alive to me. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw that same thing. It was one of those fake news things or whatever. They're trying clickbait or whatever. But they had the wrong birthday on there too. And I noticed. So I think that on that clickbait it said like his birthday was in March, but I didn't.
Oh, right.
I looked at it and I said, well, wait a minute. No, my wife and I in our sickness about 5-6 months ago looked up his birthday so that we could make the bet whether he was going to make it to 100 or not. And so that's how we knew that article or that clickbait was false. But
right, exactly. Yeah, it was me. I was that Denzel Washington gif. Whenever I see somebody's trending and they always put the Denzel Washington gif, like, oh, thank God. Oh, he's okay. So yeah. But I saw that, and now then I realize he's still alive, and I'm just kind of like thinking of
I'm a dumbass.
pretty much. Yeah, that's how I roll there. So, but
and then some people you're rooting for him to make it to 100. Look at Betty White. She just was shy of 100 years old.
Yeah.
And when I found out she died at 99, I kind of felt a little bummed, like a little cheated, basically.
Right.
To 100.
Exactly. Well, I guess she made it a lot further than B. Arthur and Estelle Getty and Rue McClanahan. But that was sad. Yeah, like we lost the last Golden Girl. But I just thank him for being a friend. So
Dustin Diamond to that list.
Oh yeah.
He died at a pretty young age, if I'm not mistaken. God rest
oh
his
yeah. Yep, exactly. Screech. That's
That's
pour one out for old Screech right there. So I'm gonna drink one for Screech here.
Screech. Dusty will drink them.
Yeah. I'm gonna reach for Screech. Grab my beer. There we go. But the gray man is on a Spaceballs a lark here. Spaceball. He's going Spaceballs crazy. But we've been jammed. Yes. Raspberry. Nobody gives me the raspberry. Only one man gives me the raspberry. Lone Star. Apparently, I've seen that movie way too many times right there. But I would give this beer an A as well. You know what? I'm going to throw a minus on there just because I wish the alcohol by volume was a little bit more. But it still is enough to keep it in the A level. I'm just like, I want a little bit more heft to my oatmeal stout, but A minus is still really good. I mean, you think about it, it could be a B, could be a C, could be a D, could be an F. It's still an A minus is still pretty damn good right there. But yeah, I think you guys nailed this beer right there. You guys know what the hell you guys are talking about, And I knew there was a reason why I asked you guys to join the show and provide your perspective here, because you guys have had beers all around. Between the two of you, you guys have had beers all around this great planet, and you guys are bringing that expertise.
I have to ask though, now when you read some of the reviews on this beer and you start seeing things like descriptors like, oh, I tasted chocolate and vanilla and raisins and all sort of, Zagnut or whatever, they put on there. Like, did you guys get any of that in this flavor? I mean, to me, I have to overly simplify it and just say, okay, it tastes like an oatmeal stout. To me, that's not very exciting, but I can't say I tasted any raisin necessarily. Maybe my palate's not that well developed.
Right. Mine is not. I'd never get to that because I did see some videos like that where the guy, he's getting there. He basically does a terrible pour. So he's got like this, foam. He's got this head on it like that much. And he's like just getting his nose in there. He's like literally sticking his schnoz and he's, sniffing it like that. And he's coming out like, I smell toffee and rosemary and rutabaga and cilantro and pine tar. He's like listing all this shit. I'm like, I just taste like, it kind of tastes like kind of coffee, maybe a little chocolate, some toffee in there.
Caramel, brown sugar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got definitely some brown sugar. Definitely some brown sugar in there. They're ode to the Rolling Stones, I guess. But yeah, I'd give it an A minus right there, but which is still pretty damn good. But yeah, you guys did a fantastic job. Hey, everybody, let's give these guys a hand right here. Absolutely. So, but and we're gonna drink some more beers here. That is for sure. But we got to wrap up this brew review time. So let's do this. All right. So yeah, before we move on, I like the pint glass is calling to me. It's got to take me a little more tugs.
It's an addictive beer, I tell you. You start drinking
it is.
You're happy to finish it. That's for sure.
Yeah, you bet. I need like a beer. Somebody's just a beer runner. Just like grab me beers and whatnot. Just bring them to me and whatnot. So I don't have that there. So maybe someday I'll get that. But all right. So let's move on. More Deadpool and Wolverine. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about here, and then we're gonna move on to some other more fun, different segments as well. Here we're about to get into the movie military moment where I salute a veteran, and going to get into the top 5 Ryan Reynolds movies here pretty soon. But one thing that I liked about this movie, or one actor I was glad to see, is I don't know if you guys watched the TV series Succession on HBO when it was still on, but that Matthew Macfayden was on this in Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, Tom Wamsgans from Succession. And I think that was kind of cool to see him in the movie and see him get, a prominent role after a Succession. But I also remember him way back when he was in. Remember Russell Crowe came out with that Robin Hood movie back like 14 years ago, and he played the sheriff of Nottingham in that movie. So that's just some random trivia about Deadpool and Wolverine, and one of the actors was in there. And then also, so Deadpool and Wolverine, they moved from 20th Century Fox over to Disney Marvel when Disney bought 20th Century Fox, okay? And so Disney Marvel and the Marvel movies are largely known for being, kid-friendly, family-friendly, no violence, nothing controversial, nothing that you got to, get on bended knee at church, the next day and repent for your sins for seeing, everything like nothing like that, all right? But Deadpool, on the other hand, the Deadpool movies got some scandalous shit in those movies, right? And so when it moved from 20th Century Fox and the scandalous Deadpool and Deadpool 2 that they had over there, and they moved it over to Disney Marvel, and Disney Marvel kind of being a little bit more sanitized of sorts, then everyone was kind of worried about, okay, are they gonna water down the Deadpool? Well, as we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine, hell no. Okay, they did not. They brought the blood, they brought the violence, they brought the guts, they brought the profanity. I mean, all the stuff that a 13-year-old kid wants in a movie, right? They wanted all that stuff, Now it did no nudity, no sex, no nothing like that. For that, if you want that, you'd have to see the first Deadpool. Okay, maybe that might have been one of the things that Disney Marvel was like, ain't no one taking their clothes off in this movie, all right? So I mean, this ain't Skinamax, all right? So none of that shit. But that's about the only thing that they didn't bring over from the 20th Century Fox world here. But I think people were happy, and obviously the box office shows that people were happy that Disney Marvel let Deadpool be Deadpool, okay, and let it get all this just crazy, batshit crazy and bloody and all that stuff and that kind of thing. It'd be completely irreverent to most superhero movies, especially one of the cameos in this is from an actor that in the Marvel movies is known as Mr. Goody Two Shoes, and in Deadpool and Wolverine, he gets a chance to let his freak flag fly, and he's just ripping off curse words left and right, and of course, at that, like I said before, like, you kiss your mother with that mouth? To which he would say, no, I kiss your mother with that mouth right there. So, I mean, that kind of profane speechifying in this movie from that particular, typically Goody Two Shoes actor there. But when you guys see that cameo and you see this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And hopefully, if like Davon and Dusty here, if you haven't seen this movie, hopefully I'm enticing you. I'm like just getting the curiosity piqued to go see Deadpool and Wolverine, because with the box office numbers it is doing, it's probably going to be in theaters for like the next 3.5 years there. So to packed houses, it's going to be there that long. Because I remember when Titanic was out in theaters. Didn't seem like Titanic was in theaters for like 5 straight years, right? It was like in there forever, right? I mean, it seemed like 3 years after it came out, I had people going, "Hey, have you seen Titanic in the theater? Have you seen Titanic in the theater? Have you seen Titanic in the theaters?" Like, how that movie is still in theaters? My God, James Cameron. And maybe Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be the exact same thing right there. But who knows? Who knows right there?
That's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
Yeah, I do get into my rants right there. But all right, let's do this here real quick. And we do have sponsors to this show right here. That because we try to make a little bit of money with this show right here, as far as part of the Till Death Podcast Network, or the Dill Podcast Network, as I tried to call it a little earlier. And one of the sponsors to this show is called Flip City Magazine, and Flip City Magazine picks up where Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine left off. So Dusty, Davon, I'm sure back in the day, maybe even still today, you guys pick up a Mad Magazine, right? Remember Alfred E. Newman. If you wanted a dependable laugh, you just pick up Mad and Crack Magazine, right?
That's the one.
That's the one right there, yeah. So Flip City is now taking over the reins because unfortunately Mad and Cracked, they allowed themselves to get sucked into the woke Borg. Okay, so now instead of the making you piss your pants because you're laughing out loud. So there we go. Laughing out loud so hard you're pissing your pants. There we go. They're in the we're going to teach you how to live your life, young man, kind of business. Okay, and who wants that, right? Okay, I just want something funny to read. And so Flip City saw an opening and they're like, hey, this is our chance. Everybody come together. Mad Magazine and Crack, they're totally shit in the bed and they went woke. So this is our chance. Okay. So Flip City is filling in the gaps right there. But instead of hearing it from me and me yapping about it, let's hear from Flip City, and they're going to tell you more about that right here.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right. So, yes, got to get yourself some Flip City Magazine. And I not only hawk this magazine, I am a actual reader of Flip City Magazine. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that shine. Look at that gleam. Let me get the light on it. Look at that right there. Just like you waxed your car right there. Look at that nice. Okay. And it's something you can hold in your hands. Look at that. Look how happy my fingers are. Look at that. I got a magazine I can hold in my hand here. And you get great artwork in this bad boy. Here, just like back in the day, because sometimes you just get sick of going to a website, right? You want something tangible like back in the day, and Flip City gives you that right there, okay? And as you see down below, you get 10% off your order of the best non-woke comic around, which is Flip City. And the way to get to that is to click on the Flip City link down in the description, okay? So get down and dirty down there in the description with the Flip City link. Click on that and then pick what you want and put in the promo code field movies and get 10% off your order of the best non-woke comic around. All right. So, so do it right now. Again, those cool kids want you to do it. Okay. And you also don't want to be that guy that goes to the family reunion and you show up and all your relatives are like flipping through their Flip City magazines and you're the one loser that shows up without a Flip City magazine and they're all like, you don't have your magazine? What a loser. There you go. So get yourself Flip City magazine and don't be that loser. Okay? Do it now. And again, we're making it easy for you. Just click on that link in the description. I mean, even I can figure that out. That's how easy it is, all right? So do it. All right. We're moving on here.
Does it really make pooping better, by the way? I saw that little ad that says it makes shitting better or pooping better or something like that.
It most definitely does, yeah. Especially like when your shit is kind of nutty and kind of scratchy. Yeah. It takes away the pain right there because you're like so busy laughing your ass off. You know, like normally when it's nutty and scratchy, you're like, oh my God, that hurts. Ah, make it stop. But this way you're watching, you're reading a Flip City, like, kind of hurts a little bit. You're kind of like laughing, and it's kind of like a pleasure and pain experience. Yeah. So yeah, they were not lying right there when they were talking about that. It just definitely makes shitting happen much more pleasurably right there. Because yeah, that's the last thing you want. Is when you're going through one of those painful shits and you don't have Flip City magazine, you're like, no, God, please, no. So don't be that guy right there. So don't be Michael Scott sitting on the shitter and he's like, oh God, Dwight, give me a Flip City right now. So yes, don't be that guy.
So this is not medical advice, but it could be a cure to constipation, is what you're saying.
It could. Okay. It very well could. It very well could right there. I mean, it's potentially saving lives is what it is doing right there. It
helped Elvis.
Yeah, exactly. If only he had one had Flip City over there. I mean, if only, that's a fun magazine. Oh, yeah. All right. I'm about to die. Oh, thank God I got my Flip City. All right. So, yeah, Flip City should have been there for him, but, you know, so Thank you very much, Flip City. Thank you very much. glad Priscilla got me the Flip City magazine. Oh yeah, there you go. But on that on that Vegas Elvis note there,
Dusty, you here to chime in on the poop discussion?
Yeah, get it. Yeah, don't. Yeah, we don't want to hog all the poop. Dusty, you want to get in there, man? Just don't. We don't hog it all.
Don't hold back. Let her rip.
You'll flip your shit.
There you go. That's a good one. You should be at work. Yeah, work for the marketing department for Flip City right there. That is like, I got to give you another. I got to give you another one on that. Yeah, tip top right there. Excellent. All right, so let's keep this train a moving right here. And so now it is time for my favorite segment of every Movies America spoiler warning, and that is the movie military moment. And for just this one, I'm going to move my bros to the backstage here just momentarily for the movie military moment. I will bring them back up. Don't you guys panic. They will be back up here real quick. But for the movie military moment, we're going to have them down there. But what is the movie military moment? You're probably asking right now. Well, that is where I salute a honoree, a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay. And you're probably asking yourself, like, what the hell does that have to do with movies there, Van? Well, as you would imagine, if you are awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, you didn't get it for, like, sorting mail real well in the base post office, right? Okay. You didn't get it for shining your drill instructor's boots real well, right? You did it for some hellacious shit, right? You flew a helicopter into a hot LZ in Nam, or you were in Iwo Jima and you rushed a Jap pillbox with a grenade and blew yourself up along with a bunch of Japs, and you saved all your comrades. Something cool, right? Something where if you saw it on a big movie screen right in front of you, you'd be like, oh my God, that's a huge, excellent scene. My God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. That's an awesome movie military moment. Okay, so that's why I call it the movie military moment. And so for every movie military moment, I have a proud recipient for that. And so tonight's honoree is one First Lieutenant Deming Bronson, okay? But as you would expect, and as I expect, every honoree for the movie military moment, every recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, I believe really does deserve their own music, wouldn't you say? And so we're going to see to that right now as we get into the movie military moment. No, that's not working. Let's do that real quick here. Let's fix that right there. And there we go. Well, I'm not hearing it through my mic, but maybe you guys are hearing it right there. So there we go. It's always something. Let's try this anyway. You know what I think is happening here? Let me try this. Nope. All right, so we're probably going to have to go without music here tonight. I don't know what is going on with that. Checking the settings here real quick. You guys are seeing how the sausage is made here tonight, so let's do this. That's working, okay. That's working right there, okay, gotcha. Oh, well, hey, you know what? You got to plug on here. Let's play that right here. All right, so there we go. Let's do this here. So we're going to plug on here for the military. Maybe you guys can hear it. Let me guys know if you guys in the chat, let me know if you guys hear that music. Maybe you guys hear it and I just don't. Who knows? I hear it over my computer speakers. I don't hear it in my... You guys hearing it? You guys hearing it? Okay, so there we go. Good. All right, sounds good. So I was panicking for nothing. There we go. All right, let's start that bad boy over here again. So let's pretend that didn't happen. There we go. I need that Will Smith blinky flashy thing from Men in Black right now. So all right, let's do better for First Lieutenant Deming Bronson. There's always like technical difficulties, I swear to God, with live streaming here sometimes, but here we go. All right, this is the movie military moment. And for this movie military moment, our honoree is one, First Lieutenant Deming Bronson, who fought in World War I. And let's learn more about First Lieutenant Deming Bronson, shall we? For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity above and beyond the call of duty in action with the enemy, on the morning of 26 September, during the advance of the 364th Infantry, First Lieutenant Bronson was struck by an exploding enemy hand grenade, receiving deep cuts on his face and back of his head. He nevertheless participated in the action, which resulted in the capture of an enemy dugout from which a great number of prisoners were taken. This was effected with difficulty and under extremely hazardous conditions because it was necessary to advance without the advantage of cover and from an exposed position throw hand grenades and phosphorus bombs to compel the enemy to surrender. On the afternoon of the same day, he was painfully wounded in the left arm by an enemy rifle bullet, and after receiving first aid treatment, he was directed to the rear. Disregarding these instructions, First Lieutenant Bronson remained on duty with his company through the night, although suffering from severe pain and shock. On the morning of 27 September, his regiment resumed its attack, the object being the village of Eccles-Fontaine. Company H, to which First Lieutenant Bronson was assigned, was left in support of the attacking line. Company E, being in the line, he gallantly joined that company in spite of his wounds and engaged with it in the capture of the village. After the capture, he remained with Company E and participated with it in the capture of an enemy submachine gun, he himself killing the enemy gunner. Shortly after this encounter, the company was compelled to retire due to the heavy enemy artillery barrage. During this retirement, First Lieutenant Bronson, who was the last man to leave the advanced position, was again wounded in both arms by an enemy high explosive shell. He was then assisted to cover by another officer who applied first aid. Although bleeding profusely and faint from loss of blood, First Lieutenant Bronson remained with the survivors of the company throughout the night of the second day, refusing to go to the rear for treatment. His conspicuous gallantry and spirit of self-sacrifice were a great source of great inspiration to the members of the entire command. And we salute you, First Lieutenant Deming Bronson, as part of this movie military moment. And that has been our movie military moment for this Deadpool and Wolverine episode of Movies America. Spoiler warning. All right. Excellent right there. And so, as I always say, as I bring Dusty and Davon back up here onto the premises. There you go. Absolutely. There we go. Let's move everybody up there. All right. If you happen to know First Lieutenant Deming Bronson's family, because I doubt he's still alive, so probably his friends or family, his descendants. If you happen to know them, let them know about this dedication, this tribute to their loved one. I would think that they'd be tickled pink. There we go. That someone is paying homage to their loved ones right there. Definitely gotta love that right there. And hey, all right, hey, thanks for joining us. Gotta go. Good seeing and listening to you all right there. So yeah, good for giving us a little bit of your time right there. And that's what I always say, like, people can't catch the whole show because this sucker does go for like at least 2+ hours sometimes. And people got things to do, so people can just join for a few minutes here or there. That's all good right there. I appreciate it all the same. It's it touches my heart. Okay, I get all verklempt there when I see that. So, hey, Agent X6 is joining us on the live chat on the Pilled side right there, and apparently he is no fan of cringy Kamala right there. She is getting a little taste of slaps giving. There on the old, what do they call that? The slap fest on Rumble, I think is what that is. So, and someone who's watching is I'm sure is laughing their ass off. Like, he doesn't even know what that's called on Rumble. That slap competition. But yeah, that's a pretty good sticker. Now, Dusty and Davon, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Pilled.net, but it's trying to be a competitor to like Facebook and X and YouTube. More of a competitor to YouTube and Rumble because it plays videos and that kind of thing. Well, if you're in a live chat there, you can put on there like called stickers. And stickers, you can have like GIFs that play little videos and that kind of thing. So it kind of enhances your live chatting experience right there. So it's all good. But that is the that was the movie Military Moments right there. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an episode where I've enough to where you've seen the movie Military Moment, but Davon particularly, you're ex-mil like me. Were you touched by the movie Military Moment?
Well, to answer your first question, yeah, I've seen it. It's always good to tribute, I think, to the military. Obviously we like to pay our respects, all of us, but we all do it in different ways. And then, what's that classic line they always say around Veterans Day that, all gave some gave all.
Some gave all,
that sort of thing. And, I don't know where I stand. I certainly didn't give all myself, but I try not to make it about me. But it is a sacrifice, whether you got through basic training or you spent 50+ years of your life in the military. It is definitely a sacrifice, so it's good to see a tribute.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, like, speaking for myself, I'd say I'm one of those that gave some, but I definitely didn't give all.
Yeah,
not at all. I'm still here breathing. Okay, I'm not 6 feet under right there. But I think you and I, we both we probably could have had more fun things we could have done with our lives, right? So we did give some there, but and I appreciate it because I got to see a little bit of the world, so it's all good. There, but that's awesome. Now, right now is the time where I beg for money. Well, I don't really. I just remind people that if you do appreciate the show enough to where you want to throw a buck or $2 or $500 my way, you most certainly can do that. And this is how you can do it. So if you're checking me out on YouTube, you can give me what's called a super chat. And the way you do that is down by where you type in your live chat message, like our sister was a little while ago. There's a button there that has a $1 bill on it. When you click on that, it'll ask you how much you want to donate. And that's all there is to it. Very simple, okay? Now, if you're checking me out on Rumble, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant. And it's going to be very similar to what I just told you, except down by where you type in your live chat message, the button is a $sign. And just click on that. And again, same operation, ask you how much you want to donate my way. And last but certainly not least, on Pilled.net, you can give me what's called gold pills. And on Pilled.net, gold pills actually equate to real life moolah, to dinero, to clams, okay? And so if you give me a certain amount of gold pills, then that's money in my pocket right there. So you can do that. And to give me gold pills on Pilled.net, you just got to click on the gold pill button. I know, really complicated. Very, very tough there. And that's only if you feel like doing it. If you guys don't do it, if nobody does it, totally cool. I just appreciate people joining and whatnot, because I know you watch other shows and they're like, if you don't give me money, it's not very classy of you. Oh my God, I'm slaving over a hot live stream stove, you ungrateful bastard. I am not going to be that guy. Okay. I'm just like, hey, if you can give me some money, that's cool. If not, it's all good. I love you all the same right there. So, all right, that's enough of me. I was going to say begging for money, but see what I mean? I wasn't begging for money, right, guys? I was just like, steering them, right? I was kind of like, hey, it's over here if you'd like. It's wasn't begging, right? No begging, right?
Send the man a check for $12. He reviewed your Sam Smiths for you. Come on.
Let the boy mow your lawn.
That's right. Yeah.
Let him sleep in your bed, for God's sakes. Love it, the old Hurley boy.
What was the $12 check line from, though? That was 40-Year-Old Virgin? I want to say, was that Seth Rogen that said that in that movie?
Well, they said something about like he was dating a hot grandma.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, oh, does she mail you a dollar and your birthday card every year?
Send you a card with a check for $12.
$12 in, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's where that came from right there. So, all right. So right now we're going to deviate from Deadpool and Wolverine a little bit. And I have got my idea as far as what my top 5 Ryan Reynolds movies are. Okay. And I'm sure you two have seen enough Ryan Reynolds movies where you maybe haven't like sat down, on your couch and like, man, it's Thursday night, I'm bored. It's time for me to sit down like every great man should do once in his life and think about their top 5 Ryan Reynolds movies. I'm sure you guys haven't done that, and neither have I. I just kind of pulled these out of my ass, basically is what I did. But this is my top 5 Ryan Reynolds movies here. So, and as I realized, I forgot to grab this slide right here. So this is what happens there, guys. If you ever get into the live streaming content creation business, sometimes you'll be in mid-show. You're like, shit, I forgot to do this. And then you have to quickly recover. You have to make do here and handle your business right there. So and hope that your internet is running nice and fast here. But I know I live in a little bitty town. There we don't have much internet here, so it's so hopefully we can get this popping up here. Literally, it says processing right here is what it is. That's just fantastic. There we go. See, all I had to do was bitch about it loud enough, and it comes up. So there you go. See, that's the thing. That's one of the secrets. If you guys ever do live streaming, is go. All you have to do is wee loud enough, and technology starts working. So there we go. All right, so let's get into this top 5 Ryan Reynolds movies, shall we? Yes, look at that. There we go. That's high-quality graphics right there. We spare no expense here at Movies America. Spoiler warning. So it's top of the line. Hollywood, eat your heart out. So we're going to go down from number 5 down to numero uno here. And my 5th favorite Ryan Reynolds movie here. And again, Davon and Dusty, you guys are more than welcome to like, oh my God, Van, what are you talking about? What? That's in your top 5? That wouldn't even be in my top 35 Ryan Reynolds movies. Man, you're smoking crack, dude. Or what's even more welcome is you could say, oh man, you're a genius. Oh my God, that's exactly where I would have had that movie. You deserve like a special award given out by God himself. Okay, so that kind of praise is welcome as well. So with that being said, let's get right into it. And that goes for the live chat too. Agent X6, the Gray Man, everybody else in the live chat there. Hey, let me have it. Do not. I am not fragile. I'm not delicate. Okay, so let me have it. Let her rip. Okay. All right. So number 5 is Buried. Okay. Now this is a Ryan Reynolds movie where maybe not a whole lot of people know about this movie. Okay, this movie cost about $17 to make, and it came out in 2010, so well before Deadpool. This is well after Waiting, well after some of his earlier movies, Best Friends, and all those movies right there. What's the other one? The Smoking Aces, that kind of thing. So it's kind of right in the middle of all those movies, and then Deadpool right in the middle of it. But this is Ryan Reynolds in one of his rare, I should say rare, but one of his rarer dramatic roles, where he plays this contracted truck driver in, I think, in Iraq. This is like during Desert Storm or during one of the wars there in Iraq. and he gets knocked out, and then he finds himself buried alive in this wooden coffin. And it's the whole movie. I tell you, I shit you not, this whole movie is him in this wooden coffin with the cell phone you see there in the picture, and he's got a flashlight, and he's got a cigarette lighter, and he's obviously what do you think he's trying to do, right? He's trying to get the hell out, right? And the director and the screenwriter for this movie, chef's kiss to them. They actually make a movie with a guy in a box for 90 minutes, compelling. Okay, like try to write that shit, most screenwriters. All right, there you go. I mean, that's tough. All right, but Ryan Reynolds, he's very dramatic in this. The dude breaks you hot. Okay, he breaks you hot in this movie. I mean, it's like he really portrays like how you would react, right? If you just woke up and you're buried alive under the sand in this wooden crate, you'd be shitting your pants the whole time, right? I mean, I know I would. I'd be crying like a little girl the whole damn time. I don't know if I'd be able to keep it together. Well, his character in this movie does keep it together, and he's trying to call out on his phone like, "Hey, save me!" All right. And he's married, so he gets on the line. He's with his wife, and his wife's like, "You better promise you better promise you're going to make it home, and I love you," and all that stuff. Gets all emotional and all that stuff, and it's really very suspenseful. Very suspenseful. There's moments where you think you're like, "Oh, I think he's going to get saved here," like, and then they ratchet up the kind of the release, and then they ratchet up the tension, and then the terrorists, you hear from the terrorists, and it's a very tense, very compelling, very suspenseful movie. And what made it surreal for me is the whole time I'm watching it, I'm picturing Ryan Reynolds in Waiting, right? Or Van Wilder, or one of his funnier roles. And I'm like, holy shit, this is Ryan Reynolds. He's being really serious in this movie. Wow, this is amazing here. But Buried, again, is the name of the movie. You should check it out. It's probably not the easiest movie to find. I'll get on IMDb, see if you can find it somewhere there. But yeah, it is. Let's get in here, right here, because I do not want to deprive you guys of the chance to see it. And IMDb usually does a pretty good job of showing like where you go and check it out there. So I guess it's I could probably get it on Prime Video. I think it's on Prime Video for free. Yeah, included with Prime. So there you go. Hey, I lied. If you got Prime Video, you can watch it for free on there. So check it out. So it's after the show, guys. After the show, all right? Don't be ditching me right now to go see Buried, all right? So, guys, I'll keep track of you guys, all right? So, but that is number 5 right there. So we're going to move on to number 4. And this is the movie Definitely Maybe right here, okay? Now, this is the one where you're probably going to like, all right, time to turn in your man card there, Van, all right? It's like, apparently you lost your balls, all right? But this is a sweet little movie, okay, where it's kind of a rom-com, and he plays a dad, obviously, as you see right there. And really, if you've ever seen, if you were a big fan of the movie, the TV series How I Met Your Mother, and you wanted to see a movie version of that show, check out Definitely Maybe, okay, because it I don't know if it ripped off How I Met Your Mother, because this movie came out like 5 years after How I Met Your Mother started, but it came out well before How I Met Your Mother ended, okay? And so I don't think it stole the ending to How I Met Your Mother, but it might have creatively borrowed the premise of How I Met Your Mother there. But Ryan Reynolds, of course, he plays in the movie the guy who's explaining to his daughter, hey, this is How I Met Your Mother, all right? And it's him. They kind of go back in time in his past when he's having these relationships with these 3 different women. And the whole time you're wondering, hey, who's the girl's mother? And it's kind of a hard movie to explain here. It's because it's not like an action movie where like, oh yeah, these guys, they go on this island and these terrorists meet up with them and they blow the shit out of them and they blow up this big old building and then these hot women come out there and they help them. Like it's a hard movie to describe like that. Okay, so but Definitely Maybe it's a good movie and it's entertaining. And hey, if you want to score some points with your woman, pretend like, oh, I don't want to watch this Definitely Maybe, but then just to really enhance the points, because you know how it is, dudes, right? Like it's with your woman, you don't ever want to like, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch a Sex in the City with you. Hell yeah, no, you want to like, oh god, I don't want to, but honey, for you, I will. Okay, so you can do that with Definitely Maybe, and then really secretly enjoy yourself while you're watching the movie. Okay, so all right, so since I can't really describe it that well, there, I'm just going to move on to number 3. But I think with this number 3 movie, I think you'll agree I'm getting my balls back here. Okay, so all right, moving on to number 3, and that would be Deadpool 2. Yes, Deadpool 2 here, where Deadpool in this particular picture, he's simulating the Peter Gabriel, in your eyes, Lloyd Dobler scene from Say Anything here to Colossus, and you got Zazie Beetz and the taxi back there. But Deadpool 2 is another example of a sequel that is pretty close to the same quality as the original movie, and it's just as sassy and saucy and irreverent and profane as the first movie here, but with a bigger budget. And in this one, you get some bigger names in this. You got Josh Brolin playing Cable. You get a cameo from Brad Pitt for a split second in this, but in this one, he's still going along with Vanessa. Him and Vanessa are still dating. They're getting more serious. They're starting to talk about having kids, and then one of the baddies that he's been going after, the baddies show up at his front door. Vanessa dies, and so then he's got to go and try to figure out a way to kind of to turn back time. He needs to pull a share, right? He's trying. If only he could turn back time, maybe he could find a way and bring back Vanessa, right? And then there's this kid that involved in the mix, right? He kind of gets mixed up, in this whole plot, and that's the reason why it's not my favorite Deadpool movie, is because that kid just straight up drives me nuts. I'm like, why is that kid in this movie? So that's why it's not my number 1 Deadpool movie here. But this kid does lead to some furthering of the plot, and then all of a sudden, Cable, played by Josh Brolin, he also played Thanos, of course. He shows up and furthers the plot and that kind of thing, and so I think just what puts us in my top 3 is because it's got that Deadpool energy, it's got that irreverent energy, it's got Ryan Reynolds, at his smarmy best, and it's got all the I'm a dude. I like action movies. I like blood and guts in my action movies. So it's got all that too, with the sense of humor. It's got some funny music in there. I like the whole theme. The whole scene in there where they're in the prison and Deadpool's ripping on dubstep. It's like dubstep is for gay guys or something like that, something along those lines. But just irreverent shit, but cool action sequences. You get some cool super villains and superheroes in this. Like Juggernaut shows up in this. I mean, it's just pretty badass, pretty cool movie. So, but Deadpool 2. That is my number 3 favorite Ryan Reynolds movie. So, Davon, Dusty, I've been yapping a long time here. Any thoughts on any of these movies here? I don't want to, take over the dialogue.
Yes, I have thoughts. Okay, let's see, number 4 on your list. That looked like was that Little Miss Sunshine? Was that Abigail Breslin in that?
Abigail Breslin, yes, that was Abigail Breslin right there.
So that must have been around the same era as Little Miss Sunshine, because she grew
right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Right around that, yeah. No, because didn't she have like a honeybee costume?
Yeah.
In Little Miss Sunshine, there she was in a talent competition.
Another great movie, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, Little Miss Sunshine, right? Greg Kinnear and all those Steve Carell.
Yeah.
The late great Alan Arkin.
Yeah, it just passed away not too long ago.
Yep.
But yeah, that's another one where you talk about dynamic. I guess Steve Carell and Ryan Reynolds to some degree kind of remind me of each other. I guess you throw them in the same bracket as Jim Carrey, known for their comedic style, but then they really do have some depth to them.
Yeah.
When you watch certain roles that they're in.
Yeah. Particularly Steve Carell and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Oh yeah, between two of them. Or like I said, Jim Carrey maybe in. I'm trying to think of his more dramatic roles. Maybe Truman.
Yeah, he was in like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. What's that one? He was. I keep wanting to say 8mm, but that was Nicolas Cage. But there was one where like the number 6, the number 9, or something like that. It was one of the movies he was in. It was called The Number 9, where he's like hunting for a serial killer. The Truman Show was kind of serious,
Little
It
bit.
had a comedic edge to it as well there. But yeah, and then Will Ferrell, he's another one. But he kind of tried to get in this serious thing. I can't think of a serious movie that he did that I thought he did very well in it. But Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, Ryan Reynolds, yeah, definitely great examples of that.
And just to keep track here, I mean, you're on number 3. You've got 5, 4, 3, so you got a couple more left, right?
Couple more left. Yep, exactly. Right. There you go. Yep.
Dusty, go ahead. I don't want to steal all your time. And if you got anything to add, Dust, go right ahead.
Unleash, Dusty. Unleash on us.
I think number 5. I don't know. I just noticed when you, I thought you said Barry, for buried.
Oh, Buried, yeah.
Yeah, and then the picture has a blackberry in it, and I thought the movie was going to be about blackberry.
Oh,
like a poor blackberry got buried alive, and
yeah.
If Ryan Reynolds makes it out, that's fine. But we're more worried about the blackberry getting out alive.
Phone. When you went to IMDb, I was on eBay with my phone looking for that sucker. But that's a cool retro phone that he's got in that.
Yeah,
that movie.
Oh, in that movie, yeah, in Buried.
Yeah, it looks like a crackberry. I think Dusty's right. That's
yeah, because that movie came out in 2010, so I think that still would have been in the heyday of Blackberries.
Yeah,
right there.
Probably thinks like, at least I got my phone. Like, it's not all bad.
Right? Yeah, you would think. I mean, like they could key in on his GPS coordinates or something like that, or his SIM card.
Yeah.
Yeah, location services or something like that. So that's what I would be thinking is data. Yeah, like if this happened in 1957, man, you'd be screwed, right? I mean, you got nothing to kind of geocode your location there. But so another reason to check out Barry to see what happens with it. But that's a really good movie. So good thoughts, gentlemen. Good thoughts, and we're gonna keep this train chugging along with number 2, and that'd be Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, Deadpool and Wolverine, the very movie this episode is all about. And so this one is this picture right here shows one of the reasons that this movie is so good, because like for instance, it's got these little idiosyncrasies, these little cookies or Easter eggs in it. Like right up here, at the top, the name of the store is Liefeld's Just Feet. Well, that's like an inside joke to comic book fans, because Liefeld was like this animator of Deadpool who sucked at drawing feet, and so they had Liefeld's Just Feet. So just so people could like, I get that. So yeah, so you get all kinds of like just little Easter eggs in the movie. But what also helps with it is just all the great cameos in this. The cameos that serve a purpose. They got good utilization to the cameos, and the cameos, they're in the movie for quite a long time. Okay, well, they're not these novelty member-berry cameos, so they really they're really compelling in there. So because sometimes like you watch like the Star Wars movies, they'll have like just some characters show up for like a split second, and you're like, okay, that's just they're trying to be cute, trying to put member berries out there, trying to be kind of a novelty kind of thing. Like, remember this character right here? Well, here they are again, 37 years later. So, but with Deadpool and Wolverine, the cameos, they knock it out of the park. And then also the special effects are excellent, and you get a good villain in this movie with Cassandra Nova is the main villain, and she's like the sister of Charles Xavier, or Professor X from the X-Men, and she makes a compelling villain in this. She's got some great lines. She's ultra powerful, and she's got a sense of humor. And I'm surprised they killed her off at the end there. It seems like such a waste, because they could have had her in future movies. I think she would have been entertaining in the upcoming Avengers Secret Wars, and what's the one that's going to come out before that? Like Avengers, the Avengers Doomsday, I think is another one, because that's definitely, as you could tell from the title of that, Avengers Doomsday is going to have Robert Downey Jr. in it, because as we saw at San Diego Comic-Con, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing Dr. Doom, and I don't know how people feel about that. Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play a prominent character in the MCU again. This time he's playing a villain as opposed to a hero there. But so yeah, we'll see. But all that to say, the villain in Deadpool and Wolverine, to get back to Deadpool and Wolverine, I thought was a good villain. I'm like, you guys killed her off at the end. All right. So, but so hopefully the rest of the Marvel movies don't do.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Like the rest of the Marvel movies have right there. So, but yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. Also, it's got some emotional moments in it. I gotta tell you, it's got some emotional moments in there to keep your attention with the movie as well. But yeah, it's just a great old. It's like a think of a movie as a delicious casserole, right? You got cheese and meat, and you got some sauce in there, perfectly spiced, and it's baked just perfectly to where it gets that right consistency right there. I'll tell you, this Deadpool and Wolverine casserole is so tasty, so tasty. Kind of like shepherd's pie. Remember, we'd have shepherd's pie there, Davon and Dusty. I don't think Mom made it a whole lot, but you guys have had shepherd's pie before, right? Or green bean, or Mom makes the great enchiladas, right? Enchiladas are pretty good, So when those enchiladas, when they're so good, when you put them in a movie form, they create Deadpool and Wolverine right there. So that is my number 2 favorite Ryan Reynolds movie, and hopefully Mom is watching right now because I'm kissing her ass pretty well here. So with the enchiladas,
she makes 2 kinds of enchiladas now. She does both like a white sauce chicken and the traditional. I just want to throw that out, and they're both delicious. I mean, just food. But I also have to remark that it looks strikingly similar to the Reservoir Dog Street that Dusty lives near in California.
Yeah.
With that storefront there, just kind of reminds me of it. I think I see that restaurant nearby, that little brewery. What's that place called, Dusty? The
Hermosillo?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hermosillo, yeah. It just looks like something would be in that area.
Yeah, because Dusty lives in a part of L.A. where, remember the scene, everybody, from Reservoir Dogs, where they're escaping the bank robbery and Steve Buscemi, he's running from the cops, and he gets into an intersection, and there's some poor lady, she's in her car, and he pulls her out of the car, takes her car, and he's shooting at the cops, right? And that intersection that all goes down, Dusty lives not very far away from that intersection right there. So, yeah. It's very, very cool right there. So, yeah, I remember I thought that was really cool right there. Steve Buscemi was fake blasting, officers of the law right here. So, very, very cool. But that is number 2. That's number 2, everybody. So, and you know what time it is right here. We're getting to numero uno. And what could it be? Oh, right there. There you go. You guys probably guessed, right? You guys probably kind of saw this probably coming. The number 1 is the original Deadpool right here. We got Colossus. We got Negasonic Teenage Warhead right there. And, of course, the man himself, Deadpool in the middle. And this is the one, I like this one the best because, yeah, it was the OG. Okay, it started it all. It was the one where, like, God, we've never seen anything like this. I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Oh, my God. And it's also still to this day, I think it's kind of still the most hardcore. Okay, it's like it's the hardest R of all the Deadpools here. And I think it's got the best action, really, out of all 3 of them. And I say that, I mean, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine, which in Deadpool 2, they obviously would have had bigger budgets than Deadpool. But I still like the action scenes in Deadpool better. The villain is pretty good. Francis in that's pretty good. Gina Carano playing what did Deadpool call Gina Carano's character? And it's like a slightly less depressed Rosie O'Donnell or something like that. That's what he calls her in one scene. But she's chewing on a match the whole time. But yeah, it's great, and it's it's the only one with the Deadpool theme song in it, so that's excellent. That enhances it right there. And then also you get, it's very emotional. It's got some emotional scenes in there when Wade realizes he's got cancer and he's with Vanessa and he's weighing like how it's going to affect her, and he's got a line in here like, well, cancer, it's not about how bad it treats you, it's how much it affects the people that love you, all that kind of stuff. So and then the composition, not the jams, not the tracks in the movie, but the composition, the score of the movie, I think is pretty good as well right there. And the gray man on the hillside says, I am kinda a Ryan Reynolds fan right there. Exactly. You are not alone. You park your car in the same garage as a lot of people right there. Now there are some movies that he's in where I'm like, okay, there's too much Ryan Reynolds in this. Ryan Reynolds is being too Ryan Reynolds. Like he was just in that movie It that came out earlier this year, the John Krasinski movie. That movie is very meh, and Ryan Reynolds just basically plays Ryan Reynolds in that movie. Or he was in the Atomic Project. It was some lame Netflix, the Atom Project. That's what it's called. The Atom Project. It was like this lame Netflix movie that came out a couple years ago, directed by the same guy who did Deadpool and Wolverine. And that was 2 hours of a worthless piece of shit. So don't check that out if you haven't already. Believe me, you'll thank me for not watching the Atom Project. So, but then again, he's got a lot of movies that are good that actually didn't make this list right here. Like I liked him in Smoking Aces, The Change Up. I think it's safe to say Davon and Dusty. We like him in Just Friends, or at least the opening scene where he's singing, I Swear, at the beginning of Just Friends. At least that scene. The movie kind of goes downhill a little bit from that point gradually. Just kind of becomes this formulaic comedy. But when he's singing I Swear at the beginning, in his fat suit, hilarious. So Just Friends just missed the list. Free Guy, that's another cute little movie that he was in. Adventureland, I liked him in Adventureland. The Proposal, that's another good Ryan Reynolds movie. That's another one that, dudes, you could score points with your ladies too, by pretending you don't want to watch it, but then you do. And I did it for you, honey. There you go. Saves you $1,000 at K Jewelers, right? You get the same result, if you know what I'm saying. There. So that's another movie you can do that with. But so he's got a lot of movies, a lot of good movies that you can check out there. But he does have some stinkers out there. But so as I wrap up this top 5 list there, gentlemen, any thoughts? Any more thoughts?
Just Friends would have made my 5, but then again, I think Ryan Reynolds, when I think of him, I think of comedy only because once he made me laugh, that's kind of what I stuck to with him. It's almost like Adam Sandler to a degree. He did a few serious movies out there, and the one that he did that I think of was that Uncut Gems years ago, and he was in a more serious role. But I still have to say, if I had to come up with a quick top 3 for Adam Sandler, I'd probably just say his first 3 movies between Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
And, same thing with this. I would probably have to have Waiting on the list, the top 5, for that very reason. Deadpool would be the top 5 for sure.
Yep.
And I do, the Buried movie does intrigue me. I don't know if I watched that one. I remember seeing at least the trailer for it, remembering the concept, and the claustrophobic side of me perhaps wouldn't let me watch that movie.
Oh, but, sure. Yeah. Right.
But
that'll kill you.
Yeah, I'll have to nut up and get that one on the screen and just watch it. I'm trying to remember. And then the other one, what's the other one called? The number 4 would you have on that list? The one with Abigail?
Definitely maybe.
Definitely maybe. That reminds me of a Oasis CD, either by the same title. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oasis. I've got it here. I brought it up. It was, what was that? I'll tell you here in just a minute. It was called, Definitely Maybe. That was it. That was the CD from the 90s. So I might have checked that one out too.
Yeah.
And I don't really think of chick flicks, I guess, from Ryan Reynolds, but I guess he probably did do a few of them.
Yeah, he's done the Proposal. I would say is categorized as a chick flick. There, Free Guy has sprinkles of chick flick in it as well. But what Adventureland kind of does too. But that's more like with Jesse Eisenberg, simping for Kristen Stewart in that movie. But Adventureland just missed the cut there as well. The Gray Man says, I went to the drive-in for the first time in years a week ago. Saw Minions 4 and Twisters, was fun, but rained for a bit. Well, hey, I'm glad that it was fun and that rain didn't rain too much on your parade right there. Because nothing sucks more than seeing a shit movie and getting pelted with precipitation at the same time right there. So no, nothing is worse than aggravation being combined with precipitation. So, and
cheers to drive-ins, though.
What's that?
I said cheers to drive-ins.
Yeah, cheers to drive-ins. Yeah, exactly. Do you guys still have a drive-in like Dusty? Maybe since you're in a bigger area, maybe you still have a drive-in theater somewhere, kind of a novelty drive-in theater.
The Valley, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah. We have one here. We have Coyote Drive-In here.
Okay.
There. So, but you know what? I've lived here for almost 10 years. I still haven't been to it. So that's how much into drive-ins I love. But I like drive-ins. It's just I've been too lazy to go there. But now I'm gonna have to like nut up and go check it out there. And yeah, the gray man goes on. Wet for minions for my granddaughter. Cool experience for her. Backed the truck up and sat the camp chairs in the bed. Yeah, am I right or am I right? That's experience right there. That's like straight out the 70s and 80s right there. So I'm waiting for you to say, yeah, we had some Pop Rocks and we're drinking some Like Cola and we're blasting the Foreigner, that brand new Agent Provocateur Foreigner album that just came out. So love it. So so that has been officially my top 5 Ryan Reynolds movies right there. There we go. That is how we do that. All right. So I think we're getting ready to wrap up this episode here, but just to let everybody know, next week's movie is the movie Trap. Okay. And a lot of you might be like, Trap? What the hell is that? What is that? Is that about like trapping cockroaches? Is that about like bug infestation or something like that? Like, no. That is the latest M. Night Shyamalan movie starring Josh Hartnett. And I am not giving anything away with this, but he plays a serial killer in this because the trailers give that fact away abundantly. But it looks like an intriguing movie. Again, the trailers give this all away, so I'm not spoiling anything. But he's basically a dad. He's bringing like his young daughter to like this Taylor Swift kind of concert, and the concert turns out it's a trap, hence the name of the movie, Trap. And the trap is there to trap the serial killer that's been menacing the whole city. And it turns out he's the serial killer that they're trapping in here. So he's got to try to work his way out of this trap. So it kind of sounds like mildly intriguing. So that'll be the movie that I will be spoiler-free reviewing this Sunday afternoon on Movies America Live. And as you all know, that show comes on Sunday afternoon at 4 Eastern. There we go. Had to figure that out for a second. 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific time on YouTube, Rumble, and Pilled. And very easy. You just got to go to like my X page, got at Movies America, or you can go to some of the other sites that I'm going to show you a little later on to get the links to the show. Right there, like Davon and Dusty, like you had like very easy to join the show tonight, right? You just had these links you had to click on, and you got it. Very simple, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's that simple, very simple. Just got to click on the link to join the show when it comes on, and you'll be in like Flynn right there. And then, of course, a week from tonight, Movies America spoiler warning will be all spoilery about guess what movie? Trap. Okay, so it's your duty, no, not to please that booty. Well, maybe do that too, but it's your duty to also go see Trap before next Thursday so that we could talk about Trap here on this fine program. Okay, so, and all right, so let's do a little housekeeping here. I think we're all good to go. Caught up on that. Okay, so right now I'm just going to give you a few sites that you should definitely check out here. That's part of this show and other shows on the Till Death Podcast Network. And the first place you should go here is solo.to/Movies America. Now, the reason you want to go to that location is that's the one-stop shop for all links to anything Movies America related. Okay, so if you want a quick place to go to for the link to the latest show that I'm doing, it's like the one this Sunday, the one next Thursday, or if you want to check out the links to all the past shows that I've done, you can go to solo.to/Movies America. It's got the link to my Twitter page, Facebook, Criticless, all the other Letterboxd, all my other sites that I'm on as well. OnlyFans, my OnlyFans page right there. Got to pay the bills. All right, somehow. All right, so it's
no judgment.
No judgment.
Yeah, no judgment.
No judgment zone right here. Exactly. There we go. Don't judge me. Then the next place you want to go is moviesamerica.com. And that's where you go if for some reason you want to just check out the audio-only version of the spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday. I don't know why you wouldn't why you wouldn't want to watch the show, just check out this fine visage right here. So, but I don't know what is up with that. But if you can't stomach looking at my mug and you want to just check out the audio only version, you can go to moviesmerica.com, or you can go to any place you even imagine would have podcasts, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, yada, 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 yada. Any place that has podcasts, you can check out the podcast versions of my spoiler-free reviews.
RedTube.
What's that?
RedTube.
RedTube. Yep. There you go. Yeah. And then also OnlyFans has my my audio only versions there. Actually, on my OnlyFans, I sit there with just a banana hammock, actually reading my spoiler-free reviews to you. So yes. It's just only $7.99 a minute. That's all it is. There you go. So how do I digest from that, right? So then I'm also on X and Instagram and Gab under @MoviesAmerica. Like I mentioned before, I'm on Facebook and other platforms. That's another good reason to go back to this right here, solo.to/MoviesAmerica, because that's the site that has all the locations, all the links to all my locations, including OnlyFans as well. So. But yeah, here's just to demonstrate my handle on pretty much every platform is @MoviesAmerica right there. Well, next is going to be the tdpn.locals.com. I'm not going to go into that too much because I went into that quite a bit earlier today, but tdpn.locals.com and down there. And that's just our Till Death Podcast Network website with all our content. Check it out. And then our next link has to do with every great empire. Okay, so think of every great empire in the world. The Ottoman Empire, the Ming Dynasty, Alexander the Great, the Roman Empire. What did they all have in common, right? Merch stores. They all had merch stores, right? They all had merch stores there. And so since Till Death Podcast Network is a great empire as well, we have our merch store. And so you can go down and click on the merch store link down in the description and by God, get yourself a Movies America shot glass or a Movies America t-shirt, Movies America phone case, okay? Movies America catalytic converter if you live out in California like Dusty and you got your catalytic converter stolen out of it. Well, maybe. Okay, we don't have catalytic converters, but we have pretty much everything else you can think of with Movies America just splashed across it there. And, hey, before you know it, Christmas is going to be right around the corner, Kwanzaa, Festivus. You know, you got people to buy gifts for, and nothing says I loathe you. I mean, I love you, like Movies America merch right there. So again, merch store link down in the description. Absolutely. And then I get a little cut of that. So the more merch that you guys buy, the less I have to be on OnlyFans. So there we go. All right. And then we have @Till Death Network, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. And that mouthful is where you'd want to go to if you want a one-stop shop for all links that have to do with the Till Death Podcast Network, the network that this very show you're watching right now is on. Because who wants to hunt and peck all over Al Gore's worldwide interweb, right? I'm like, Al Gore, forget that. No, just go to that location right down there, and you'll have all the links you need. And then solo.to/Till Death Studios. This is where you would go, say, if you're into the content creation game like moi here, and if you have a show, you have a live stream, you do pre-recorded stuff or whatever, and it's looking a little boring. It's looking a little pale. You know, all the other content creators are looking at you going, ha ha, Rudolph, your show sucks. And they will let you play their reindeer games. And you want to step up your game a little bit. You want to add a little flair, Office Space style, to your show. Well, you go to solo.to/Till Death Studios and get with my man Ian, who's got the skills that pay the bills. And he will create cool shit for you, like the intros that you saw earlier on the show, the overlays that you see me pointing my bony finger at, that kind of stuff. He will create stuff like that for you, but you've got to get the ball rolling by taking the first step and going to solo.to/Till Death Studios. All right. So opportunity knocks, and make sure you open the door. There you go. That was very, very corny. I'm not going to say that ever again. All right. And then solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. That's where you would go for all the links that have to do with my man Sean, who's also on the Till Death Podcast Network. So he's got links to he's an author. He's got links to his books. He's a bass guitarist. Got links to all his musical content. He's got his own show called Sipping with Sean. every other Friday afternoon. He does Spaces on X because he likes to give out life advice and whatnot, and that kind of thing. So yeah, go to solo.to/I'm Sean Cat for all the links to that. Again, so you don't have to hunt and peck on Al Gore's worldwide interweb right there. We're coming to the end, guys. We're coming to the end. And then solo.to/the Whiskey Capitalist. That's where you would go if you want to go to a one-stop shop location for all the links for the Whiskey Capitalist podcast show that I'm sure everyone watching this either live or later on checks out. The Whiskey Capitalist podcast show that's on every Monday and Wednesday nights, and then also on every other Tuesdays as well. And they talk about politics and hot button issues of the day, and they have funnies and that kind of thing. And it's too hot for YouTube, so you have to check it out on Rumble and Pilled and X there. But if you want an easy place to go to for the links to their upcoming shows or past shows, go to solo.to, the Whiskey Capitalist. And then last but not least, the solo.to/Till Death podcast website is, again, you're going to detect a pattern here, the one-stop shop for all the links to everything that has to do with the flagship show of this network, the Till Death podcast, okay? The show that started it all way back in 1937, okay? When we all did the jitterbug, all right? The Till Death podcast, well, it's not that old, but pretty old. So the Till Death podcast is hosted by my man Ian and his lovely bride Jen, and they do that every other Saturday afternoon, and they just bring you like the political news of the day and funnies and hot button topics of the day as well, but they do it with it all marinated in their marital mirth. And I did not mean to make that sound gross, but it's not as gross as I made that sound right there. They kind of do the back and forth husband and wife ribbing, and of course Jen gives them that look every once in a while and that kind of thing. It makes it very exciting. It's getting excited just thinking about it right now. But yeah, Till Death podcast. Check it out every other Saturday. And this website down below is where you would want to go to have an easy link to watch their upcoming shows or their past shows right there. All right. So, hey, compadres, my broskies, my brosifs, any last words on this episode that you have honored me in joining me on?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having us on. I have to ask which one of those links has the Fatherless Fridays?
So that would be the Whiskey Capitalist podcast. Now, I don't even know if they even do those anymore. I think they left a bad taste in their mouth there. They might do those there, but the best show to have the best chance to check out the Fatherless Fridays is on the Whiskey Capitalist podcast there, and that's every other Monday and Wednesday. So so this link is where you would want to go to check out that right there, or. And this is for everybody else. Like, you can just go to Rumble and just type in the search field there. Just type in Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, or X again, same deal. Type in Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, Pilled, same deal. Are you detecting a pattern here? There you go. And that works for Movies America too. Again, go to all these platforms and type in, guess what? Movies America. All right. Now, on some platforms, you might see two Movies America accounts. There's one that has absolutely 0 episodes on it and one that has like over 200 episodes on it. I'll let you guess which one you want to check out right there. So yes, but that is where to go there. All right. And right now is when we're going to do my friends on the pilled side a solid. Okay. Because like I said earlier, remember how I said gold pills equate to moolah, to money, to real world money. All right. Real world money that you can buy Samuel Smith's oatmeal stout with. Okay. Well, anybody that's in the live chat on the pilled side, I am going to do what we call releasing the scratching. And what that means is anybody in the live chat on pilled, which we do have a few people over there, it's going to rain gold pills down upon them like manna from heaven. Okay. Because remember, like, you'd see those guys that get put like in those containers, like the wind containers, and the dollar bills are like flying everywhere. And you got to grab as many dollar bills as you want. Well, this is the gold pill version of that right here. And so we are going to release the scratching here directly in 3, 2, 1. And the scratching has officially been released right there. So you crazy kids there in the live chat and Bill, you go crazy. You go nuts. Don't spend it all in one place right there. And you're welcome. Yes, there we go. So, but all right. So that is one step off the docket here on this Movies America spoiler warning episode right there. But again, I want to thank my bros, Davon and Dusty, for joining the show. You guys have done me a solid. You guys added some invaluable knowledge and perspective to the brew review time. And for any relatives maybe possibly watching, I apologize. For myself, not them, for myself. But with that, everybody, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. After me. They're coming after me, okay? But I got just enough time to ask you. Just like this video, if you would, and then subscribe to this channel, okay? I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. I gotta tell you. And so before they haul me off, make sure you watch these videos over here, okay? And thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? I gotta go.